What's up, YouTube? We're here on Facebook and YouTube. I want to talk about today. A song was banned and deleted or blocked off of Spotify today. It's a song called Safe Space off the Bryson Gray's new album featuring Patriot J, which is a pretty crazy precedent to set. I mean, especially in rap music where you have people rapping about robbery, murder, senseless crime, like literally killing and robbing grandmas. Their songs about just everything. And it was always allowed because it's music and people will allow stories, pretty much anything. But now Spotify's taking a stance against Bryson Gray. And this is pretty groundbreaking. I think this might have happened at a certain point one time before, but I would say I haven't seen anything like this in a while. And we got to talk about it, what the song said, why it was banned, and just move on from there. I also want to talk about the second thing is a post I made that I kind of saw somewhere else, but in a different way. And I kind of pieced my own together and made it. And you could probably see it on my page and a lot of people's page today. It's two business insiders. And one of them says workers lost 3.7 trillion in earnings during the pandemic. And the other one says nearly 500 new billionaires joined the ranks of Bezos and Musk last year as the world's richest became 5 trillion richer. So, workers lost 3.7 trillion and the rich gained 5 trillion. I mean, that number always fluctuates. Isn't that just interesting? We'll talk about that for a little bit. And the third thing I want to talk about, if I were to say what I'm about to read, I don't know that I'd be allowed to, but this is right on the World Health Organization website. It says World Health WHO.int international emergencies under the COVID-19 vaccines. Listen, this is not anomaly. This is not me. This is not my opinion. This is World Health Organization on their website. It literally says that children should not be vaccinated at the moment. There is not yet enough evidence on the use of vaccines against COVID-19 in children to make recommendations for children to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Children and adolescents tend to have milder disease compared to adults. However, children should continue to have the recommended childhood vaccines. That's what the World Health Organization is saying. If you were to say that, or any doctor outside of their realm, you'd probably be censored and penalized for saying that. But the World Health Organization is even admitting now that they don't think children should get vaccinated. I think that's interesting, and I think it's also interesting how they're shoving it down children's throat, as the World Health Organization themselves say that they don't even believe that. So We'll mention that. That's what it is, and we'll wait a few minutes for everybody to get in, or maybe a few seconds. Someone said I'm about to unsub from Spotify. I have the whole story, and they're gaslighting Bryson as well. They're acting like it's not banned. And listen, I don't play Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's censored. It's banned. And as you can see, I'm back. I'm back in my domain, so that means a lot more videos coming. I'm back to the editing. My thumb is getting better, so I'm going to be editing even faster now. So let's just jump into it. Thank you guys for being here on Facebook. Thank you guys for being here on YouTube. I understand it's not as easy to find, I guess. For some reason, they don't let the links work, so I appreciate everyone who comes. Have I heard of Tom McDonald? I have, yeah. I'm actually going to mention him in this live stream because it's kind of relevant to what's going on. So Bryson put out a new album. It was called Bold as a Lion Season 1, and I always try to listen to Bryson's new albums. He's a conservative, Trump supporting rapper. He's, he raps about Christian values. He raps about what he doesn't like about the LGBT community and, stuff like that, really just whatever's on his mind. And I enjoy it. I always try to go through his albums and support and try to find a song or two that I like the most. And I usually add them to my playlist. So I listened to his whole album when it came out. And my favorite song was called Safe Space, featuring Patriot J, who's also my friend. I've done a song with him. And, to me, it was the best Patriot J verse ever. I loved it. I actually listened to it on my way to San Diego. I was blasting this song. And on the way back, it didn't play. I didn't think much of it. And then I logged onto Twitter, and I see Bryson tweeting, my song got deleted off of Spotify. And I looked, and you can see right here, I printed it out. It's like not dark. They're all, it is dark. They're all light. That one is just blocked out. You can't even stream the song. Obviously they're targeting conservatives. They're targeting people who go against their social agenda. But, I think the main point that we have to really say here, and then we have to talk about solutions and what to do, because we can't just complain about it. rap music, I love rap. I like all kinds of rap. There's thousands upon tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of songs just talking about gang violence, murder. And it's not all like vengeance murder, like, yo, you killed my homie, I'm gonna kill you, or, I'm gonna protect my family, I'm gonna hold the block down. Like, there's some ignorant songs out there. I mean, there's some songs that literally be like, I want to tie your grandma up in her house and like murder your grandma. Like, these are the type of lyrics that rappers will rap about. And I'm not trying to talk like I don't understand rap. I love rap. I'm just saying I've heard it all. And the further rap goes, there's pill rappers. They're talking about killing themselves. They're talking about popping pills and dying. Literally, multiple rappers have literally popped pills and died. And they're telling kids that they're popping pills and dying. They pop pills and die. Kids pop pills and die. It's like they don't mind that. There's rappers that are rapping about killing people over literally nothing, and killing like elderly people and robbing them over literally nothing. And that's fine. And every week I see a new rapper die. Famous rappers, mainstream rappers, up and comers, people with hundreds of thousands of followers on social media that were just getting big. Literally, I've counted over 10 rappers that have been murdered this year from gang violence and senseless crime. Because if you go to these cities, these major cities or these inner cities, whatever you want to call them, where there's large, areas of, I guess I would say, where the Black demographic is, the majority in those areas, there's a lot of gang violence and a lot of crime in a lot of these cities, and people are killing each other constantly. Point I'm getting to is they don't care how many songs that people rap about that, because and I know this might sound crazy, but they like when Black people kill Black people. That's fine. They don't care. Liberals don't care. Spotify doesn't care. The LGBT gang doesn't care. The, Goldman Sachs with the, all these companies, I'm saying, like, oh, we're weapons contractors with an LGBT flag. It's like, you got banks and everybody's just doing they don't care when Black people kill Black people, because they act like they don't even see it. They act like it doesn't even happen. They'll blame white supremacy. They'll, put a gay flag instead of an American flag. They don't care. Which is sad to me, because they say Black Lives Matter and then they ignore over 90% of Black lives. They won't even talk about that. In fact, they almost like when Black people get killed, because that gives them more of a reason to promote certain things. So when it's Black on Black crime in these cities, they're like, there's no political or social angle to exploit. So let's let the rappers talk about that. We'll promote them. We'll put them on the playlist. They'll be at the top. That's fine. The liberals don't care about that. But when a white person kills a Black person or a cop kills a Black person, they actually like that. They don't look at that and think, oh my God, that's so bad. They think, oh my gosh, hundreds of millions of dollars we're going to raise off of this. We're going to have social justice. We're going to build statues. We're going to destroy these Black communities further. We're going to win elections. Like, maybe they won't say that, but this is kind of what they do, is it not? So they ignore all the most degenerate rap about suicide, pill popping, murder, killing grandmas, robbing grandmas as grandmas are being robbed in the major cities, and people are listening to this music and doing it. And then they ban a song by Patriot J and Bryson Gray called Safe Space. And I listened to the song. It's definitely edgy, but it's pretty much Bryson doing what he always does. He doesn't agree as a Christian with the LGBT community, and he pushes back against it. And I have to say this before we get into the contents of what they're even saying. When I was 19 or 18 and they talked about gay marriage, here's just a little story of mine. I actually supported gay marriage when I was 18 or 19. I wasn't that religious. I didn't think much of it. I was like, doesn't matter to me, whatever. But I had a teacher who I think was gay, who seemed very gay. And like, he would always be like, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. And I just always thought to myself, I'm like, bro, you're gay. And it doesn't matter. You can have a lisp and not be gay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, most guys that aren't gay just don't say every day, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. Like, literally every week this dude is like, I'm not gay, I'm just letting you know I'm not gay. And I'm like, no one even asked if you're gay. It just seemed really gay. So it's like, whatever. Anyway, so this professor, he told us, you have to do an assignment. And he said, your assignment, this was in college, okay? I was at West Virginia University. He said, your assignment is to write a letter to Barack Obama and say why you support gay marriage. And I was thinking to myself, even though I supported gay marriage at the time, I thought, that's kind of weird that he's forcing people to say they support gay marriage, even if they don't. So we had an assignment where he pretty much said, if you don't support gay marriage, you're failing. You have to write an article about why you do, or a letter. And then he took those letters after he assigned them for our class, which had nothing to do with gay marriage, and he mailed those letters to the White House. I kid you not. This should be like a criminal offense. He lied to us, forced us to say something that some kids didn't agree with, and then took the letters and mailed them to Barack Obama and acted like we did this out of our own free will or something. I mean, this guy's a psychopath. So even then I started to realize that the gay agenda is kind of crazy. Like, I agreed with it at the time, and I just thought these people are losing their minds. On that note, every Christian pastor who said, gay marriage is going to lead to a slippery slope, they seemed crazy at the time, but now I would say they're seeming very smart right now, because it not only could have been a slippery slope, it was a slippery slope. Okay, people got played. At the Olympics this year, you might have a transgender weightlifter winner. You have transgender cyclists who, a lot of these people competed as men, could not cut it among men, all of a sudden changed their name from Tommy to Susie or whatever they changed their name to, no disrespect. And now they're on pace to win Olympic medals probably. So, is that not a slippery slope? Okay, now they're banning songs on Spotify because Bryson doesn't agree with the LGBT agenda and just makes fun of them the same way rappers make fun of everybody. They make fun of white people, they make fun of black people, they make fun of straight people, they make fun of women. They call women BITC, you know what? And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying anything goes in rap music. Sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes it's sarcastic. Sometimes it's storytelling. You're not doing it. You're writing a story of what you saw. Or Lupe Fiasco would be famous for writing stories he didn't even see. He just makes crap up, so it's like, where do you draw the line? Apparently they don't draw the line at murder, self-sabotage, pill popping, suicide songs. They draw the line at Bryson Gray and Patriot J, who rapped about, anti anti-LGBT. And, I would say Patriot J threw in a few conspiracy theories there, but, I don't know which ones he was saying and what. It's a rap song. I love the verse, and that's where they draw the line. It's just crazy. So I think, I think Bryson has every right to push back, because it's not only could be a slippery slope, it has been a slippery slope, and it's so far past what's normal. Me, who I would say, I still am pretty compassionate, and I could, understand where liberals are coming from. I feel like a pastor in 2007 just being like, yo, you guys are doing way too much for me. You're banning songs. Meanwhile, there's people rapping about popping pills, dying from popping pills. Tens of thousands of kids are dying from popping pills. Our life expectancy is going backward from depression, suicide, and popping pills. And you allow that. But Bryson and Patriot J rap about, LGBT and conspiracy theories. And all of a sudden, that's just too crazy. They have to jump the gun. And I don't know what their logic or reasoning is, but I don't care. These people are out of their mind. And, the good news is I don't want to just complain, because everyone's going to say, what do we do? Do we cancel Spotify? The good news is I'm making a video about this. It's going to reach tens of thousands of people. And now, Bryson and Patriot J's music are probably going to be streamed even more. So, every time they try to attack us, we just grow superpowers. And that's what's happening. I outperform a lot of these rappers. Someone mentioned Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald's #1 on the charts or #2 on the charts. Bryson is probably making a killing with his rap songs because they're getting millions of streams. Patriot J is starting to make his way there, and I know he's going to be very, very successful. He got a law degree. And these are two, it doesn't matter what race they are, but for context, these are two black rappers who they're not talking about killing people. They're not talking about, self-sabotage. They're not talking about popping pills and selling drugs. They're literally just talking about conservative values, and they're funny, witty, and, edgy at times. Really, that's all they are. Patriot J and Bryson Gray are two people who you'd want them to be your neighbor. If they were your neighbor, you wouldn't feel like, oh my God, these people are up to no good. You'd feel like, okay, I trust these people. These are good guys, and that's how I see it on a small scale. It's like, regardless of your ethnicity, it's like, who would you want to be in your neighbor? They call that a neighborhood. So when you have these high crime areas like South Side of Chicago, it's like, it's not racist to notice what race they are. It's like, okay, there's a lot of crime going on. It's like a war zone. It's like living in Afghanistan. What the hell is going on there? There's nothing racist about not wanting to live there. And then when black people come around, like Candace Owens, Bryson Gray, Patriot J, the Hoteps, Brandon Tatum, they're all different, but I'm just saying the one thing they have in common is like, we're not playing the victim. We see the problems going on in the black community. We see the problems going on in America. We're going to call it out, and we don't play along with this stupid, culture that they've created. Now, all of a sudden, it's a problem. What does this say about liberals? This is why I always play that clip of Malcolm X where he says, the white liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western hemisphere. He says they're the most deceitful. They're like a fox because the fox will fool you. They look at you away and their mouth is shaped like a smile, but they're really trying to, eat you or whatever. It's so true. It's like they literally don't care if black people kill black people. They literally don't care if white kids and black kids are dying from pill overdoses on a daily basis. They don't care that they're lacing the drugs with fentanyl, and these rappers are talking about doing street drugs and the kids are dying for fentanyl. Liberals could care less how many kids die, how many black people die, how many white people die, how many Asians get punched in the face in New York City by someone who's not white and they blame white supremacy. They literally don't care. They just want to ban Bryson Gray and Patriot J for talking about conspiracy theories and the LGBT. This is how sick these people are. And I'll say this too before I leave. They'll probably, like, now when they were talking about the January 6th event, everything they're going to try to make it like Charlottesville times 50. Everything that happens, they're going to be like, well, that song could have led to the Capitol event and the Capitol event and the Capitol event. And they're going to try to make it into like Vietnam times 10,000. And act like anything you say now with your free speech is leading to this, that could lead to that, that could lead to that, that could lead to that, that could lead to that. You took a picture with him and he took a picture with him and he was at the Capitol and he was at the Capitol and they're at the Capitol. So now you're getting a phone call. This is what they're trying to do to us. But in general, I don't agree with what went down at the Capitol because I didn't go because I didn't want to support the vaccine salesman, Donald John Trump, the Moderna and Pfizer salesman. I didn't feel like going, so I didn't go to the Capitol event. I have nothing to do with it. I didn't want to be there from head to toe. But I will say this. I think they freak out so much because it affects them. And I don't agree with what happened, but I'm just saying it affects them. So now they care. But if you're killing each other in Washington, D.C., like people do on a weekly basis, and you're in the hood, they don't give a crap if they don't care how many murders are in the hood. Just don't bother them. That's their message. It's like, oh, there's tens of thousands of senseless murders in these inner cities. Oh, well, we don't want to talk about it. Oh, we can exploit one for money? Okay, we'll talk about it. Oh, you're attacking us now, or you're coming to our neighborhood? Now we're going to crack down. They're elitists. It's the same reason they shut down jobs. Oh, your job could shut down. Did they lose money? Do they know what it's like to lose a restaurant? What if Nancy Pelosi shut down and Mitch McConnell shut down and Donald Trump shut down and it caused them to lose their job? It did cause Trump to lose his job, but for the other ones, what if they shut down and they lost their position? Do you think they would have shut down? Probably not. But Nancy Pelosi knew, well, your restaurant's going to get shut down. Your business is going to go bankrupt. I'm going to destroy your family business that your family, immigrated to this country and ran for 100 years. But I'm going to get paid and I'm not going to leave my job. If Nancy Pelosi locked down and all of Congress lost their job, I bet they wouldn't have locked down. They are such elitists. And this is another thing that leads back to the Business Insider thing. Workers lost $3.7 trillion earnings during the pandemic. Business Insider, also Business Insider. The world's richest became $5 trillion richer. This was the biggest transfer of wealth in modern history that was not optional. It was forced, mandated, and held up by law, and in some cases, court cases. Stealing your money, destroying. These people are sickos. And it goes back to the Patriot J and Bryson Gray song. They don't care. Pill popping, murder, robbery, songs about the most degenerate, low-life stuff ever. That's fine. Make one song about the LGBT community and conspiracy theories. Now you got to shut your mouth. They just don't want it to affect them. It's unbelievable what they're doing. And just to follow up before I move to the next story, Bryson had contacted, according to him, this is on his Twitter, Real Bryson Gray. He contacted Spotify. And this is the crazy thing about these social media companies and now Spotify. They just lie. They're straight up liars. The liberals who work there or whoever they are, all they do is lie. So they banned his song. I know because I'm trying to listen to it and it's blocked. Why is the song blocked? So he contacts them. Here's what they say to him. He posted it. Hey, Bryson, we've made some checks and we can confirm that the track is playable on our end. Could you try logging out and then back in? You could also try reinstalling the app here. If that doesn't help, we recommend trying the following. Use a different web browser, use a different web connection. Let us know how you get on. We're here for you. Hi, Bryson. Thanks for sending over the info. We've checked backstage and we can see the safe space is still available at Spotify. Could you try logging in and logging back? So they won't even admit that they banned it, or maybe it was TuneCore or whoever he uses. I'm not sure if it came directly from Spotify or TuneCore, or maybe he uses like DistroKid or something. It could have come from the distributor that blocked it, but Spotify, they won't even say like, yeah, you can't play it. Trust me, I know I can't play it. Oh, did you try updating your browser? It's like when Facebook took away my monetization. I'm like, why did you do that? They're like, oh, did we do that? I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, that's my main source of revenue. So I'm aware that you did it, because when I'm making this much and now I'm making this much, yeah, I could tell you, have you tried checking the fact checkers? Why do I have to email the fact checkers? It's on your website. Oh, the fact checkers are a third party. We don't control the fact checkers. So you don't control Facebook? You just gave the keys to the castle to a freaking dummy who makes, I'm not going to say how much a year, but these like low level plebs who work for like some of these agencies are in France that are doing the fact checkers. So then I email these fact checkers and they're like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, it is a big deal, dummy, because I got enough fact checks that I lost all my money for a couple months. And, it is a big deal. Well, yeah, we lied, but it's not a big. Did you try this? Did you try trending your browser? They're so fake. But the good news is, because I don't want to be a complainer, this is why we win. This is why I'm getting bigger numbers than 99.9% of mainstream rappers who have $10 million label deals, because nobody cares about them, because they're fake, they're phony, it's all propped up, they got advertising money, and people want the truth. I don't even need to rap, and I'm getting 600 million views. Tom McDonald is killing these other rappers, more views, more video views, more streams. Why? Because he's rapping about something that people can relate to versus just rapping about either killing people, dying of opioids, or these stupid social justice songs that are so over the top. I was talking to someone yesterday and it's like, listen, they're just putting a rainbow flag on everything. Like, where do you even go from this? Okay, like they changed on Team USA, the Olympic Team USA. On their Twitter, they changed the American flag to an LGBT flag. So it's like, I can't even have the American flag for our American Olympic team. You're changing it to an LGBT flag. I think that it's actually appropriate, because we don't have a country anymore. They've destroyed our country. They've destroyed the Olympics. They've destroyed women's sports. They've destroyed the economy. They've destroyed the Constitution. They're destroying everything. So why wouldn't you push back against their agenda? And I know a lot of people on the right wing will say people like Bryson Gray, he's doing too much. He's going too far. It's like, they tried to say the same thing with Trump in 2016. They try to say the same thing with people like Nick Fuentes and Pastor Anderson and anybody on the right wing that, Vincent James, people that will say things that are not popular on the right wing. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, guys, all you do is lose. Like Ronna McDaniel tweets about Juneteenth. Oh, wow, you're really going to win the culture war just tweeting about Juneteenth. Like, I'm so tired of these other Republicans. Like, you keep saying stuff and like, oh, you're so nice. It's getting stale. I don't care how many LGBT flags or Juneteenth hashtags you do. Like, we get it. You're such a nice person. Marjorie Taylor Greene on her apology tour at memorials. It's like, whoa, like come on, guys. I'm so over that. So I'd rather somebody who just says what they mean, whether it's Tom McDonald, Bryson Gray, Patriot J, like, this is interesting. This is relatable. This is like, it's not fun. What you can't rap about conservative values and conspiracy theories now. I mean, I could literally be a rapper and just make up a song about like going to an inner city and just doing something crazy, but it's just ridiculous. But that's the first story. Spotify banned a song. The slippery slope is past slippery, and the good news is people want that. There's such a void of realness that Patriot J's numbers are going to go up. Bryson Gray's numbers are going to go up. My numbers have been fine, even though when they mess with me, it all comes around. People are tired of this stuff. So that's the good news. When there's a bad, there's always a good. The second thing I want to talk about real quick, and then I'll get to some user questions and comments. The World Health Organization, I got this from Alex Berenson. I think he worked at the New York Times. He's been very good speaking against the tyrannical lockdown and big pharma tyranny agenda. He's been very, very good. I'm glad he's still on Twitter, because he's been calling it out every step of the way, all the lies, all the data, everything they don't want to talk about. He brought up that the World Health Organization website, and I checked to make sure he wasn't lying. He usually doesn't. He's pretty good. It says children shouldn't be vaccinated. This is on the World Health Organization website. I'm just going to read exactly what it says. It says, who should not get vaccinated? Let me see. And it said children should not be vaccinated for the moment. There is not yet enough evidence on the use of vaccines against COVID-19 in children to make recommendations for children to be vaccinated against COVID-19. So that's the World Health Organization on their website saying we don't think children should be vaccinated. Is that the message you're getting on television? Is that the message you're getting from politicians on the left and the right? Is that the message you're getting from celebrities? That's not the message I'm getting from celebrities. I'm getting get vaccinated all the time. Anytime, we'll give you money. We'll give you this. We'll give you a lollipop. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. And then behind closed doors, they're like, yeah, actually, the data doesn't really say to do it to children. Isn't that interesting, though? So I wouldn't be allowed to say that or make a video on it. I mean, maybe I would if I had the right angle on it, but World Health Organization says it on their website. And this idea anyway that you can't agree or disagree with the World Health Organization is just complete bollocks. I'm not English, but I like the word bollocks. This is World Health Organization on March 3rd. They said, World Health Organization says coronavirus death rate is 3.4 globally, higher than previously thought. So it's the World Health Organization that fear-mongered us into the first lockdown by saying the death rate is 3.4. At that time, I made a video and I said, the death rate isn't 3.4. You're lying. Here's how I know you're lying, because I can do math and I'm not a dummy, and it's third grade math. And I did this before the lockdown. I said it's third grade math to figure out that the death rate of coronavirus is not a 3.4. And guess who was right? Me. It's much lower. Guess who was wrong? World Health Organization. So their track record is not flawless. They have an agenda just like everyone. And, Facebook and YouTube and Google acts like they're the gods of science and physics and math and wizardry, and you can't possibly disagree. Yet I was right and they were wrong. But that's kind of the story of the whole pandemic. They've penalized me every step of the way, whether it been reporting on gain of function research, whether it be talking about the possibility of a lab leak or a man-created virus, whether it be, the death rate, the testing, the ventilators, all that stuff. It's like we had this conversation months before they did, and they got upset every step of the way. So I just thought that was interesting that it's on the World Health Organization website. And, they're doing an emergency meeting because of the heart problems in children. I think the threshold's like 100. And then they have to look at it, and it's been over 200, almost 300 now. And, their emergency meeting apparently got delayed because of Juneteenth. So they create this federal holiday, and then they take a vacation. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Let's do a Juneteenth federal holiday. Oh, there's more heart problems with the kids, with the things that we're telling them to get. Oh, it's the Juneteenth. It's the federal holiday we just made a few days ago. All right, we're leaving work. We'll see you guys on Monday. This is who these people are. They create a federal holiday and then they bounce out at crunch time when people need their help. I know that they would not have locked the country down if they would have lost their job. They're so elitist, Go do Black Lives Matter riots in the hood. This is what's going through their head. They're like, if you do the Black Lives Matter riots in the hood, we're going to bail you out of jail and say it's fine. If you do the Black Lives Matter riots in Santa Monica and West Hollywood and Beverly Hills, and you just destroy multiple cities and just burn things down and kill David Dorn and do all this stuff, whatever. Just don't do anything in Washington, D.C. around us, because we'll freak out for 5 years over it. This is the message they're doing. And I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with that. I'm just saying it just comes off very elitist, where people are like, oh my God, the insurrection, they're killing everybody. It's like they only care because it's them. There's a political advantage to the game. If you do it to yourself, they don't care about you. It's the same thing with the jobs. Oh, no, we have to lock down. We have to lock down. It's the safe thing to do. Well, what are you going to say to the millions of people who lost the job? They're going to say, you're selfish if you want to keep your job. You're selfish if you want to go to the gym. You're selfish if you want mental health. You're selfish if you want purpose in life and to keep your routine. So you're going to lose your job too, right? If I lose my restaurant, you're going to lose your Congress seat. Oh, no. No. I'm the highest paid. I'm Dr. Fauci. I'm the highest paid federal employee. I'm Nancy Pelosi. No, I'm going to be here for a long time. I'm going to be here till my corpse rots and I'm drunk off bourbon with 5 plastic surgeries looking like, what's that lady's name? Whatever. Oh, no. You're going to lose your job. You're losing your, I'm not losing my business. I'm going to keep my money. No, this is how these people think. I don't understand how liberals don't get it yet. And I want to say the viral tweet that I made today with the 2 business insiders, I want to read the full headline because I think this could have been a red pill for liberals. And I'm always thinking, and I see this, it's on all the big pages now. I'm a trendsetter. What can I say? It says workers lost 3.7 trillion in earnings during the pandemic. Women and Gen Z saw the biggest losses. So who lost more money than ever? or out of all, whatever. Women and Gen Z saw the biggest losses. So, it's all about women's empowerment. They robbed you, women. It's feminists. Oh, it's about women's empowerment. Well, trillions of your dollars went into the hands of the elites. What do you think about that? You're getting scammed. But I have a rainbow on my shirt. But they had rainbows on their shirt. I mean, they had a whole rainbow parade with a rainbow bouncy moon bounce. And I love moon bounces. So, they had like giant drag queens with like satanic horns saying, we're gonna read to, and like, they couldn't have lied to me. No, what are you saying all the major corporations would lie to me? No, come on. Unbelievable. Someone said on, I think it was Huey Media. Shout out Huey Media. That's a good guy. He follows me on Insta. He comes in my live sometimes. Huey Media made a good comment. I forget exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of the same people. It's the same liberals saying, I trust the science. They're the ones losing all the money. They're the ones losing the power for their demographics that they claim to care about. And they're the ones that are pushing it so hard. It's the big corporations gain trillions of dollars. The little man and the worker lost trillions of dollars. And it's the liberal that claims to be fighting the corporations, the little man, that's forcing you to trust the science of the 9 new big pharma billionaires and them just exploiting and extracting everybody. When are these people going to get it? That's my question. I don't care. But to wrap it up, I think when I go to, I was in San Diego. I had the time of my life. But in general, when I talk to workers, I realize like the most competent, the strongest, the most, assured of themselves, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people know what the right thing is. The best people from every ethnicity, from every religion, from every gender, from every walk of life, the best people, the strongest people, the smartest people, the kindest heart, they know what I'm talking about. So we're all waiting for a leader. And maybe this is the problem. Don't wait for a leader, be the leader. But, everyone's waiting for a leader to just do it. Everyone was waiting for Trump to do it. That's why he won in 2016. Say what you want, but I think he lost in 2020 because he started, the pandemic didn't help, but he's doing this balancing act. It's like, bro, we don't need you to pander. We don't need all these special boy plans for the boy. It's like, just do what you got to do. The strongest, smartest people in society want you to get the job done. Oh, I don't know what to do. They're burning down the cities. It's like, even the Trump administration, I think, they were quicker to sic the National Guard on their own supporters and Washington, D.C. after the insurrection than they were for the Black Lives Matter protests. It's like, their hands are tied behind their back. Just do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Legally, respectfully, but we're all waiting because these people are going crazy. Everybody's like held captive at their job, just like looking for someone to save them. They're like, these left-wingers are going psycho. And I'm telling you, it's tens of millions of people, if not hundreds of millions of people who feel this way. And the Republicans just keep sliding further left and pandering and just doing dumb stuff. At any moment, I think the future is stop playing these games. Stop It's like, just do what's right. Stand in the path of truth, be nice about it. But we don't need to play this game because it's like, I can't wait to see the pendulum swing back because I don't know where they go from here. I really don't. After a lockdown, after they have, guys who are or now transgender who at one point competed with men, now competing in the Olympics against women, every major corporation just changing their flag, jamming it down your throat. Where do you possibly go from here? I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. God bless you. And let me read some comments in the comment section. Someone said, but they're woke anomaly. They have it all figured out. They don't have anything figured out, but I just don't care. I don't know. They don't seem to bother me anymore. I'm not going to lie. I stand focused in my truth. I explain myself. I say why it's kind and compassionate. I'm not being rude or mean. I actually care about people. And I don't see all this backlash. I don't play these games. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing these political games. I'm just saying what's real. And I don't see that much. Like there's I don't think there's that many people that are really that. I guess the word I'm looking for is conviction. I think tens of millions of Christians, patriots, conservatives, they have conviction. When you're passionate about something, when you believe it's right, you have conviction, especially when you know it's right. a lot of people on the left, there's people with conviction. There's people who really think they're sure of themselves, but don't know what they're doing. But a lot of these people are also a mess, because if they weren't such a mess mentally, they wouldn't feel that way. So, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be rude. I seriously, without a joke, see a correlation in people that like between mental health problems and people who are leaning into activism to try to feel like they're doing something right, but because they have issues, they're not complete, so they're easily swayed. You know, there's an old saying, it's like you can only meet somebody as deeply as you've met yourself, you know? And I like that quote, because it's like you want to find it outside and you're external, you have to do it internally. The world is not going to, you know, get right inside, and the external will make its way out. So with them, it's like if you don't get right inside, you're going to be susceptible to every trick, whether it's a left-wing trick or a right-wing trick. So, you know, a lot of these people, they don't have that much conviction. As much as they pretend like they do, they're not really that strong, because if they were that strong, no offense, they would see through a lot of these wicked lies. So I think, you know, a lot of conservatives, everybody's just playing in the background where don't be mean, don't be hateful, be peaceful, be respectful, but, you know, stand with your conviction. And I think that's what a lot of conservatives and Republicans in Congress don't do, you know, is because they're like, I don't want to seem this way, or I'm going to please. How are you going to please somebody that doesn't even believe what they say? The left, oh, they don't think it's a lab leak because it's racist, and you can't, you know, play tennis with 3 people, but you can go burn down a neighborhood in the name of George Floyd. Like, they don't know what they're talking. They don't even believe any of that stuff. Oh, social distance. Not today. Tomorrow. We'll social distance again tomorrow. Not today, though, because we're burning down neighborhoods and we're pretending like we're doing social justice. It's like, so why try to level with that? Why try to just stand firm? And that's, to me, the win. When the strong and wise and, you know, in my opinion, the best and kindest and most thoughtful people in this country show themselves and stand firm, all this could end so quickly. You know, it's like a little kid running around. I mean, wow, that's the left now. And I used to share a lot of their views, but they're just like writing all over the walls. Like, and no one just tells them stop. Just be like, stop. They need to, you know, someone needs to tell these people no, and they'll probably stop, you know, just like your kid. It's like, stop. You have to, okay, fine. I got called out. Then no one's calling them, you know? And then when you do try to call them out, they ban you off Spotify, you know? But I'm optimistic. I think, you know, things always change, and the pendulum has to swing, because I can't imagine it going much further than this. Let me know what you guys think. Latte Hana. Can I ask you a question? You come to every stream on YouTube, you stay the entire time, and you just constantly complain and nag at me like you're my ex-girlfriend or something, but I don't even know you. No offense. I'm just saying, like, what's the benefit of you coming to my live stream every time, staying the entire time, and just nagging the entire time about stuff that I don't even know what you're talking about? It's fascinating. Let's see. We'll read some on Facebook. I want to read this real quick. Danny said, I often wondered, do you get stoned before you go live? Not in a bad way, LOL. No, I don't. I would say pretty much never. I'm not going to say I've never done it, but I pretty much never, like 99% of the time, I would say no. I drank a coffee before I went live, but no, I just seem like I'm high. I'm not high though. I have a different vibe. If I sit down, I'm chill. When I'm standing up, so it's better for my back, but also it's a different vibe. I don't know. Sometimes I get in different zones, but I'm not high. Latte Hana said this is public. No, I know it's public. I'm not mad at you at all. I'm just wondering why, clearly you like me if you're here every time, because I don't spend this much time with people I don't like, but guys, I'm embarrassed to put this up. I'm drinking a Starbucks. I know you're going to make fun of me. I should get better coffee, but when I'm on the go and it's the only thing available, I drink it. Please don't be mean. Mikey, I read that comment. It was funny. Brandon said, bruh, I'm not going to read that. We got kids here. Sarah May said thehealthyamerican.org. I think, Sarah, is that Peggy Hall's thing? If it is, I think I met you. Maybe that's not you, but if you're her assistant, feel free to text me after this live stream. I'm sorry, I've been busy and traveling. Someone said, does the CDC have the same message as the World Health Organization regarding the children's vaccines? I'm not sure. Honestly, I would have to do more research, but I know they're having an emergency meeting. If you look at the death rate among children for COVID-19, it's very, very low. And, I mean, here's the thing. They're not going to say it. I don't really care. If you look at Big Pharma, there's been 9 new billionaires. Every industry, ask anybody, okay? One of my buddies, he advertises. He's a big advertising guy. He's retired now, but that's what they do. That's what they do. They sell. If you're an advertiser for McDonald's, what do you think your job is? Is your job when you work for McDonald's to tell people to go eat somewhere else because it's healthier to eat somewhere else? No, your job is to shove as many burgers down people's throats and Coca-Colas as you possibly can. That's your job. Literally, ask anybody who's ever worked for McDonald's or anybody who's ever advertised for McDonald's. Their job is to get billions of burgers eaten every single day. That's literally their job. Their job is not to say, you know what, there's a Chipotle down the road and you'd probably get a healthier meal. It's more organic there. That's not their job. So you really think Pfizer and Moderna and Bayer and Monsanto and all these companies and Johnson and Johnson, you think their job isn't to sell as many of their products as possible? Of course it is. Of course it is. And all these social media companies and all these news networks, one way or another, they're connected to these big pharma things, either through advertisements, all of them, or through these partnerships and global funds for like organizations for they have all these foundation names for the Chan Zuckerberg Foundation and the this foundation and that foundation. They got all that sort of stuff. So they're trying to tell people whether you get it or not, whether you like it or not, that's on you. I'm not like CNN. I'm not going to jam it down your throat. But this idea that we're supposed to play stupid, like even people on the right, they're you think. What do you think? I'm like, I think what I know, and I know what's happening. I don't know everything, but it's like their job is to sell a product. So they're jamming their product down your throat and they're working with the government. Did you know, according to Axios, the NIH, the National Institute of Health, it owns part of the Moderna patent. The government and pharma agencies are like this. They're like the same thing. They each have ownership over the vaccine and they're each funding it. Trump bought 100 million doses of each of them before the product was even emergency use authorized. You think they're going to just let that sit there? Of course not. They're going to sell that shit and pump it into everybody because they already bought it. What did Bayer do when they had a bunch of things that they realized weren't, they're just get them out. It's like, yeah, that's what they're doing. I'm not saying it is or isn't good or whatever, if you want it or you don't, but I don't want it personally. I know their history. I know what they're doing, just like what McDonald's is doing. They're selling as many as they possibly can. McDonald's job is not to say, you know what, actually, if you did push-ups and stopped eating McDonald's, you'd be a lot healthier and you'd be fine. You could fast for 24 hours and you'd probably be healthier than shoving 5 burgers down your throat. Yeah, but why would they tell you that? That's the truth. If you want to be healthier, stop eating McDonald's so much, eat something else and work out more. That's the truth. That's real health. But that doesn't sell hamburgers. So McDonald's aren't going to tell you that. It's the same with Big Pharma. What, you think they're going to tell you not to take their product? Are you dumb? Are people this dumb? I think they are. They've been brainwashed, It's all programming, planting seeds in your head, jamming it down your throat, using celebrities that you love, using celebrities that you hate. Trump was like the scapegoat, like, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he said lab leak and hydroxy, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then people just get programmed and they're like, dude, 600,000 people died. Like, what do you think? It's like, okay, well, do you know how many people die of obesity? Do you know how many people die of heart disease? Do you know how many people Johns Hopkins said die from hospital mistakes every year? They said hundreds of thousands. Look it up. That's what Johns Hopkins said, not me. And they're very prestigious, okay? Trust the experts or don't, but that's what they said, not me. He's like, do you know any of this stuff? So, okay, they fear-mongered 1 year about something. They jacked up as many tests as they possibly could. They ignored the link between the elderly. They ignored the link between obesity, which I would say most diseases, like I would be shocked if most things like flu and COVID and pneumonia and anything in that semi category, I know they're different, but I'm just saying I would be shocked if it didn't look similar. As far as like the elderly are always going to be the highest death rate because they're old, and same with the the obese. Like that's got to be very similar as far as like, oh my God, we can't figure it out. It's like, well, if I'm 90, it's going to be tougher for me to survive than if I'm 30. I mean, that's the science, but the cases are down, guys. It's the summer. The cases are down. I'm trying to think what other thing was there used to be where there was a season for it. And then in the summer, it pretty much went away. I'm trying to think, what was the name of it? Because it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, the flu. Oh, yeah. So there was a flu season, and the flu got really bad in the flu season, and tens of thousands of people died. And then, it went away in the summer. So now there is no flu, according to all these experts. There's COVID now. The flu just isn't there anymore in high numbers. Okay. So might there be a COVID season? Am I crazy to think there might be a COVID season now? If the numbers jump up in September and they all start freaking out, oh, they're gone. It must be the jab we gave you. They're all gone. It's disappearing. Yeah, it's June. Could that have something to do with it? It's climate change. The climate's changing. It's so simple, but these people make it so complicated. The truth is not always that complicated, but they have every trick under the sun, using emotions, using celebrities, using politicians, the left, the right, the black, the white, the red, the blue. It's all these crazy strategies. Someone said, "Where's the flu?" Well, I'll put it this way, because I don't know where it went. I don't know what's real or what's not. I'm not at the top front lines of testing, but I'll say this: I've been diagnosed with the flu multiple times in my life. Do you know how many flu tests I've had in my life? I've been diagnosed with the flu maybe 4 times in my life or so. I've never had a flu test, not once. So isn't that fascinating? I've been diagnosed with the flu so many times, but I've never had a flu test. So now there's COVID tests. And if you have COVID positive patients or COVID positive deaths, what happens if you're a hospital? Do you get money if that happens? So if you have the symptoms and they test you, or they don't test you and you have a cough and you say you were around somebody that had COVID, what do you think they're putting people under? I think probably COVID, but I don't know. Trust the experts. The same experts who said that they didn't want to talk about the lab leak theory, even though they knew it was probably, a possibility. I didn't want to align with the racists, is what they said. Yeah, trust those experts. They're so psychotic they can't even do their own work, but they want you to live vicariously through them, and they can't even live their own life properly. Eugene Wakefield said, "Come on, people, support this brother with some super chats. So many people here. Let's go." Oh, and Trump should run for Congress in Florida in 2022 to run for Speaker of the House to begin impeaching Biden. Eugene, thank you for the super chat. I will say this. I would like to see Trump as a governor or in Congress. I would rather him do that than presidency. I would support him. I think that would be a good play for him, honestly. Running for a governor of a state or running for a Congress, I think he could do a lot of damage there and stick to what he's on. So I don't know if he could do that though. After being president, it's such a big role. It's like going backwards to him probably, but I would like to see him in that position. I think I would rather that than president, but someone said, "Anomaly, know what this is about, the Great Reset." Well, they're admitting it. Like I said, I mean, these people will do anything for $1. They just had a multi-trillion-dollar wealth exchange from working people to the top. If workers lost $4 trillion and billionaires gained $4 trillion, I'm not saying those are directly coordinated, but why did workers lose so much money? Because the government and corporate elites shut them down. That's for sure. I can't say that money went directly to the billionaires or anything, but the workers didn't naturally just lose their money in a booming economy. They lost their money. And this is what bothers me about the right wing and the Republicans. All you'll hear from Trump and all these other Republicans, you'll hear it's China. China did this. China must pay. Listen, the virus seems like it came from China. obviously. The lockdown, China did not do the lockdown. Republicans and Democrats did the lockdown. China didn't push ventilators. Trump and Democrats and Republicans pushed ventilators. China didn't extend the lockdown past Easter. Trump, Democrats, and most Republicans extended the lockdown past Easter. China didn't do Operation Warp Speed. In fact, funny enough, only Trump is doing mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna. China's actually, at this point, not giving their people mRNA vaccines. Isn't that just interesting? That China's not giving them their own citizens the technology that we're giving our citizens. That's just fascinating, isn't it? But anyway, it wasn't China who did more damage to America. It was the Democrats and the Republicans. The virus can speak for itself. But to me, like what Trump was trying to say earlier, we can't make the cure worse than the disease. And him, McConnell, Pelosi, all of them, they made the cure worse than the disease. They did exactly what Trump said he didn't want to do. So, it reminds me of a cop-out where it's like, is China complicit in what's going on? Of course. But it's a big game where they're like, go blame China. It's like, you did more damage to our country than China did. China couldn't fathom of doing as much damage as our own politicians do to our country. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's Russia. It's like, Russia does a lot of stuff, but our own media is worse for our country. Our own media is doing more damage to our country than Russia. Russia subverted our country 30 years ago with Marxist programming. They bragged about it and they talked about it, or the defectors did, like Yuri Bezmenov, and that's how they did the damage. So yeah, Russia did destroy our country, but through programming people and getting media figures compromised to turn them from freedom-loving conservatives into radical Marxists who hate the country, hate freedom, hate the First Amendment, and hate the free market. Yeah, they did do. So you get what I'm saying? It's always a game they're playing, whether it's left or right. They're always never letting you get to the root of the problem. They're always 5 layers up. So we're always fighting and we're getting something done. And then 3 years, we're crushing it. And then the 4th year, we lose it all. It's part of their show. They have a big show they're putting on. Thank you, CR. I appreciate it. Let me try to read any superstars on, let me see. Thank you, Mattia. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Joji. These are Facebook. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate you for being a star sender. Someone said, interesting you made with the China comparison. Everything is a giant game wherever you look. Well, yeah, and I'm not making excuses for China. China's playing chess. China doesn't give a crap about America. China doesn't care about me. China's trying to win for China. They're a communist Chinese party. They don't. I almost respect them because they're not pretend like they lie to us. Of course, they're like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. They don't play that over there. You think they do that for their own country? Of course not. They're like, yeah, make the men more feminine. And then in their country, they're like, let's make the men more masculine. Let's make them stronger and better at sports. So everything they're telling America, they're telling the opposite. But in a weird way, they hide it less, although they are a little subversive. I'm not saying I like China or I think they're complicit, but China's doing what's best for the Chinese, regime, and America's subverting its own country. And you have Democrats who are just complete fraudulent, doing the most damage, and then Trump who does like half the game and says, "Oh, look at China." It's like, bro, your actions did more damage than China did to our country. I'm just saying, not blaming him for everything, but it's like it's all a big show. It's okay. I'm enjoying it. Someone said, anomaly, our tax dollars going to Bezos' space program. I did that video a few weeks ago. I don't know if that went through or not, but they're definitely planning on giving Bezos a lot of money because, you need to work your ass off to pay a couple $1,000 in taxes so you could send so Jeff Bezos can build his space program to hopefully go back to the moon, even though it hasn't happened. Someone said, China wants your meat, anomaly. I don't know exactly what that means, but someone said the CCP totally brainwashes and controls their citizens. My thing is this. I'm not making excuses for China. I'm not Chinese. I haven't been to China. I don't want to live there. I like America. I'm American. But this is kind of how I go hard at conservatives sometimes because, listen, we're all American. But if you want your team to win, you have to focus on your team. Trump dropped the ball for our team, and then he points the finger at China. Yeah, China is a communist country. China subverts their own people. China doesn't have the freedom of a democracy in some ways, but we are screwing up our own country. We're turning into China. During Trump's last year, he turned us into China. We got more communists, all these things, 5G, control systems. Like they use 5G in China to control their people. There's mainstream articles on it. This is not something you could censor. It's like Google 5G China. It's part of, well, now with this new technology and this new connection system, okay, there's more, there's more ways of monitoring people and more complex ways. Every time they upgrade it, they have, more technology capability. So do you know what got rolled out in America in March and April and nobody talked about it under Trump's executive order? 5G got rolled out in March and April 2020. Look it up. Most people didn't even know that because they never told us. So they turned our country into communist China, and then they blame China. It's like, you did this to me, not China. I don't live in China. They didn't come over and do this. You guys did it, and then you blame them. I'm not saying they're great. I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying if we actually focused on ourselves, we wouldn't turn into China. But since America can't focus on ourselves, the left has gone full-blown insane, and the right says America first and then puts America fourth, and then we turn into China and they say Operation Warp Speed. That's why we lost. It's not because of them. It's because our own conservatives sold us out down the river. That's what I think. But let me know what you think. Philosopher said, you think you're Jesus? That's not true. I've never said that. I've never taken the comparisons. I've always told people to follow God, follow Christ, not me. So the real truth is, philosopher, you don't agree with what I'm saying and you don't like what I'm saying. So instead of just considering it or turning off the channel, you're getting upset and trying to say that I think something I don't think. So that's what's happening. I don't think that at all. That thought is never even stayed in my head. Like, oh, that's a possible, like, no, I believe in the real God. I don't think I am God. I believe in God. And I respect the difference. But you don't like what I said, so you have to make up a straw man argument to make yourself feel like a philosopher. Someone said 5G is big tech. A philosopher said that. I know that. I don't know why you even got mad at me, but whatever. Someone said, just like China said, we're destroying ourselves, for sure. But this is what I want to see. Like, the right needs to stop playing their own base. And it's tough to tell people because you don't want to hear that. You want to hear you're winning. We're winning. It's like, we're not winning. They're putting on a show and then falling short and acting like they don't know why they fell short. So, the base, the jig is up. The base, a lot of people know. Someone said he's Andre Agassi. I've never heard that I look like Andre Agassi, but I'll take that as a compliment. Maybe I have heard that one other stream. Let me look up a picture of him again. I'm getting deja vu, so maybe someone did call me Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi's bald, though. I don't know. Did he not used to be bald? Okay, he had some crazy hair back in the day. Hopefully I don't get bald as quickly as him, but whatever. If I do, it's all good. I don't think I look like Andre Agassi, but actually I could see it. Now I see it. He had a crazy blonde mullet, though. It's throwing me off. But you replace that with my hair, it's a moderate comparison. I'll take it. Someone said, "Oh yeah, he has some wild hair." It's funny you said Andre Agassi because when I'm playing tennis with my friend, I always joke and call myself Andre Agassi. Like, I'll beat him in tennis and I'll be like, dude, I'm feeling like Pete Sampras or Andre Agassi. I bring up the old tennis legends. He's like, bro, you're not that good. But I like to troll. I like to talk trash when I play sports. It's fun. John McEnroe was the greatest tennis player, someone said. I don't know. To me, Pete Sampras was, but maybe like Djokovic when it's all said and done. I don't know. Let's. I know Google's not. Who's the best tennis player ever? I wonder what they say. Like, I'm just gonna look on the side. Top 10. All right, I'm just looking at some lists. Let's see. Top 10 players ever. Let's see what they say. Oh, they got Pete Sampras at 4. Who do they have at 1? Let's see. Oh, they got Roger Federer at 1, Nadal at 2, Djokovic at 3, Pete Sampras at 4, John McEnroe at 7. This is not. Hold on. I'm just. This is not like a fair list. Like, it's really up to you. But I don't know. They're trying to say Federer's the best ever. Whatever. Enough tennis. People. Not everyone wants to hear tennis. It's okay. Someone said Pete takes them all down. In my head, I'm thinking Pete Sampras, but I gotta do some research. I guess these new players are good. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. We'll see. Someone said, I'm the greatest tennis player of all time. Newscan.net. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Fam Lori K said Anomaly is the best debater. Thank you, Lori K. I do, I am humble. I'm down to earth, but in a debate, it's not all about me, but I'm not a liar. I don't freak out on people unnecessarily. So I think I'm undefeated in debates, but I'm also biased. But yeah, people think they have an angle with me. It doesn't usually work out. So I'm always ready for a debate. If the topic's good and the person is interesting or has a good angle, I'm there. Philosopher said, it's not your look that points me to thinking you have a Jesus complex. Philosopher, I feel like you're projecting because like you're calling yourself a philosopher. You're like, I'm a philosopher. It's all about my philosophy. And then I'm just sitting here talking to my audience and you're like, I think you think you're Jesus. I don't think I'm Jesus. I've never said that. I've never thought that. And I think you think you're like super smart and you're like, getting really upset when I disagree with you or something. So instead of being like, oh, he disagrees with me or I don't like what he's saying, you just sit here for an hour and just be like, I think you think you're Jesus. I think you think you're really, really smart. And maybe you are really smart. I'm sure you are. But it's like, stop projecting. It's okay. We'll get through this. Johnny 5 said Anomaly looks like a female. Okay. Ladies, what do we think? It's okay. Someone said I look like Andre Agassi. Someone said I look like a woman. I read funny comments. If it's funny, if I think it's funny or interesting, I'll read it. I don't just read compliments, and I don't do it to feed the trolls. I find it just kind of funny. Someone said trust Huber. Hey guys, listen. I trust Huber. I just got intel from Nikola Tesla, who gave it to Barron Trump, who played chess with Michael Flynn, who played chess with Roger Stone, who played chess with Mike Lindell. And we have to trust the government because the only way to beat the deep state is to let Trump become the deep state and fund big pharma. And then we'll say he's fighting big pharma. And then Barron Trump will move the chess piece. And then we're going to trust Huber, trust Durham, who we've never seen and probably isn't even a real person. And we'll trust Mike Pompeo, okay? Because the only way to beat the deep state is to trust the Secretary of State, who used to be the head of the CIA. That's QAnon. You know that there's only one way to beat the deep state. You have to just sit on Twitter and wait for Mike Pompeo to tweet, and then just be like, and then like, what's the guy's name? Oh, what's his? Scavino, Dan Scavino. He just like tweets a picture of like Mar-a-Lago, and they're just like, whoa, they're like, QAnon alert, Q alert. My Dan Scavino posted another picture of Mar-a-Lago. It's going down. The pedos are getting arrested tomorrow. It's official. Mike Pompeo tweeted about Israel. Dan Scavino tweeted about Mar-a-Lago. Mike Lindell selling pillows. Promo code Q45. We're going to beat the deep state tomorrow. Yeah. And then it's like 3 years later, everybody's locked in their house and they're like, any day now, we're going to beat the freaking deep state, okay? They didn't get locked up. We got locked up because we got to get locked up for them to get locked up. Now I'm locked up, and guess who else is locked up? 5D Chess, Chrissy Teigen, Ellen DeGeneres. Read her shirt. Look at her wrist bracelet. Is she on house arrest? It's like, you're on house arrest, dummy. We're all on house arrest. How are you going to lock Ellen down if you don't lock yourself down? You got to lock yourself down, lock the whole country down, and then 5D Chess, they're locked down. How did that work out? They went to the Capitol and just got set up. Unbelievable. And people are still trying to say to me, I've been blocking people, and then people are like, Anomaly, you're such a hypocrite. You claim to believe in free speech, and you blocked me. It's like, I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. I don't control the entire internet. I have my page, and I don't like you. It's like being at a barbecue with you and just being like walking away, and you being like, Anomaly, you're such a hypocrite. I thought you liked free speech. And like following me to my car. And I thought you liked free speech, huh? I thought you liked free speech. I thought you liked free speech, huh? You don't want to talk. It's like, I don't want to talk. I don't have to talk to you. I don't own Facebook. If I own Facebook, I wouldn't ban you from Facebook, but this is my page and I just don't like you. It's equivalent to like being at a diner with you and wanting to go home because I don't like you. It's fine. Get over it. But anyway, people keep telling me and I keep blocking them. It started with the Q people and people don't realize it, but they inject like their mental, like they inject it into the MAGA, and people who love Trump start repeating things that they're saying without even knowing it, because like they always just have hope porn. Anything that happens that isn't good, they're always flipping it to the positive, not in like a way where it's like, be the best version of yourself you can be. They're like, no, the fact, this is like the theory that everyone's trying to tell me now. They're like, Anomaly, the vaccines open the country. We would have been locked down. And I see it's not just Q people, it's all these MAGA people, and people are tagging me in it. They're like, dude, this really makes sense. I'm like, to who? This people have been saying this for a year, but it's like, if Trump didn't rush the vaccines, we would have been locked down for 5 years. You would have stayed locked down for 5 years if there was no vaccine. You would have sat in your house for 5 years. Then you deserve to be locked down for 5 years if that's what you're thinking. The only way we could be free is to not be free and give the money to big pharma. Anomaly, it makes perfect sense. With no vaccine, they never would have let us be free, so they had to take away our stuff, print trillions of dollars, lose the election, set the supporters up at the Capitol, give Pfizer and Moderna a bunch of money, make 9 new big pharma billionaires, and then we could be free. That's the only way we could be free. 5D chess. Block. I keep people and people are talking, dude, it makes perfect sense to me now. People have been saying this since April. It doesn't make sense. It's what you tell. It's what you tell yourself when you love Trump so much. You just don't want to say, this didn't go as planned. And if you don't believe me, just look how many people still think he's the president. Oh, do you think he's coming back in August? Someone texted me, a friend. I like them. They're not that political, but they like Trump. They texted me, Anomaly, do you think Trump's going to get back in the White House? When? Like this year? No. This is what Trumpers tell themselves because they can't live without Trump. It's their God. He did it so we could be free. No, you guys got to get over. You get what I'm saying? It's equivalent. Like Hillary's the shadow president. Hillary's the real president. Like, no, she lost the election. I know it hurts. Every theory, it's like you tell anybody a theory that makes Trump look good or that he's secretly there, people believe it, and they keep tagging me in it. Block. It's an instant block for me. It doesn't make any sense. It's okay, though. All right, Mad Cow said, remember Trump did get back in. He's wearing Joe Biden's skin as a meat suit and still in control. Didn't you pay attention to Q? Oh, my God, that's so funny. Anomaly, you don't get it. Think 5D chess. Trump's in the White House. How would he get in the White House? He has to wear Joe Biden's skin. Have you ever seen that movie where they wear his skin? He walks into the bank. Same thing. 5D chess. Biden is Trump. Trump is Biden. I kid you not. The one guy who's really big on BitChute, he's like the top propagandist on the right wing who sends MAGA sheep to the slaughter. What's an X22 report? He said after the election something along the lines of like, no, Biden is the trigger guy. Like, I was like, are you trying to say Biden? You like Biden now? Biden's getting arrested. It's all over. And then Biden gets in office and you're like, maybe Biden's the guy we want there. And I'm like, is this guy, people really watch this stuff? There's a large group of people. It's not everybody, but there's a large chunk of people. I'm going to say millions of people who you can literally make up any theory. And if it goes pro-Trump, they'll believe it. I could just be like, let me see. You see this pen? This isn't a pen. This is a laser. It's a laser pen. Think laser. What does lasers make you think of? Major laser. Who's in major laser? Diplo. Diplo, EDM. EDM, electric dysfunction magnets. Electric dysfunction magnets. Think Diplo. What else does Diplo mean? Dip low. What else dips low? A submarine. Who's in a submarine? Trump, Mike Lindell, Michael Flynn, submarine. Think submarine. What else is submarine? Subway. Who used to be the front guy for Subway? Jared. What happened to Jared? That's who's going to get arrested soon. Pedophiles. And people, I could literally say this on BitChute and get like 50,000 views. And people are like, I don't know, dude. This guy's pretty good. I mean, he's using, gematria. He's really cracking the code here. I mean, he does. I mean, and then I'll be like, nah, I don't trust that guy. I don't believe him. Like, did you not see the pen? We had the proof. He had the proof right there. Did you not read the Q post? The pen matches the pen. He said pen in 2017. Penn and Teller, bank teller, banks, big banks, Trump's Gesera Nasera. He's overturning the banks with crypto. He hates crypto because crypto's fake. He's going to overturn the whole system. We're going to get a gold-backed currency. Just wait a few minutes, dude. It's going to come. Just be patient. I know I said it was going to come a week ago, 5 years ago, and I said a month ago, 2 years ago, and I know at the beginning of the lockdown, I said that all the pedos are going to get arrested in a month. I know I lied 50 times, but just be patient. It'll happen any day now. And if it doesn't happen in March, we'll say we said August. And if it doesn't happen in August, we'll say we said August the next year. And if it doesn't happen the next year, we'll say 2024. He was always meant to lose so he could win again in 2024. And if he doesn't even run, he's going to operate from outside the White House. It's so simple. Come on. I watched Pathological Liars on BitChute, and I listen to every word they say, despite how obviously fake it is. Just trust the freaking plan, man. What does this remind you of? Saturn. Look at this. By the way, so people don't think I'm weird, this is like it's for my hands. Anyway, it's like a hand strengthener. All right. What is this? Saturn. Think Space Force. Trump lost the election because he's in space on Saturn, gonna fight China from Saturn. The only way to save Israel from the Palestinians is to fight them from Saturn. You think that Netanyahu lost? You think, no, he's on Saturn with Trump. Netanyahu and Trump are gonna save Israel and build the third temple. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna say you work for Mossad, because that makes no sense at all. But we say it so much that we just believe it. Someone said I would block them too. Yeah, I don't know. It would be funny. Like, I don't want to do this because I like doing what I do. I like keeping it real. But it would be funny as a social experiment. I'm not going to do it because this is not my type of personality. I'm busy doing my thing. It would be funny to like put on a whole new persona and just say stupid shit and see how many like Q people would follow it. I seriously think if I wanted to, I don't have the time to, I could gain a huge Q following by just making shit up every day and just being like, did you read the Business Insider headline? Think headline. Who's got a headline? John McCain, tribunal tomorrow, Guantanamo Bay. And they'd be like, holy shit, this guy's got a point. He's really, this guy really knows what he's talking about. He's on BitChute. I mean, it's like the one guy doesn't show his face at all. X22. And I don't care. It's like, stay anonymous. I get it. You don't, people don't want to be in the spotlight, but they're like, I mean, if you can't trust a guy who won't show his face, who can you trust? You're like, you don't even know this. He could be sitting in the free. All right, whatever. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Someone said you're funny. I think so. Thank you. The only way to save the country from Big Pharma is to give them money and power. How are we going to stop Big Pharma from taking over if we don't fund them and push their vaccine? We would have been locked down for 5 years if Trump didn't save the world with the vaccines. Come on. How do you not know that? We read it on a message board. Someone said 71 minutes. How did I know it would be on the Trump hate? I'm not even hating on Trump right now. I'm making fun of people who lie in the base. It's funny. Just laugh, dude. You're like a liberal who can't laugh. It's fine. You'll get over it. Ron DeSantis just signed this is Mike M said, Ron DeSantis just signed a bill that allows for forced vaccinations treatment. It's on Laura Loomer's Telegram. Literally nowhere is safe. Well, that's shocking. Let me look at it. Hold on. I like Laura Loomer. Say what you want. Say what you want about the Loomer. I've met her one time at Politicon. She's a very sweet girl. Let me just say, how old? She's 28 years old. Yeah, she's a very sweet girl. Don't be mean to Laura. She means well. She's just always looming, doing her thing. But I like Laura. Let me see. Telegram. I'm going to try to find it right now. Someone said, tell your fans how much percentage Trump gave to the redacteds. I don't know how much money he gave. I know how much money he got in donations, but or at least the Republican Party. All right, I'm trying to find her Telegram. Hold on. Someone said you have already gone all in on a certain view and you cannot turn back. I haven't gone all in on anything. I'm just I don't know what you mean. I wouldn't say I'm all in. I'm just I don't know what that meant. I guess it won't open for me. Don't have Telegram. All right, I'll have to look later. Sorry. Someone said anomaly. What do you think about the election audit? I mean, I always support anything that makes elections more fair is good, but I do think that I would like conservatives to double task. Or me personally, I've been focused on the medical tyranny since March, and it seems to not be like a top 2 or top 3 priority for the Republicans. So I'm not in that wavelength right now. They want to bring back 2020. I think 2020 is when we lost everything. Why would I want to repeat what happened in 2020 or repeat the politician who was there? So I'm glad they're doing an audit, but it's like everybody's stuck in Trump world and nobody's got their eyes on the prize. But it is nice to see that, they're doing something, but I don't have like huge expectations. Hopefully they can make the next election more fair, and that would be a win, but it's not my thing. Jeremiah said the night of the elections, you were all in with Trump. It was exciting. I mean, I don't want Joe Biden to be president. Even with all of Trump's problems, yeah, he's a better president than Joe Biden. I was excited. I mean, I love competitions, elections. It was fun. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I wanted him to win. But the difference between me and other Trump supporters is I didn't turn my back on Trump. I said all this stuff last March, last April, last May, last June. I called it. I said he was a salesman for communism. I said he was a vaccine salesman. But I also understood it was an election year. So I said, you know what? Let's see what happens. And then after the election, let's see what he does. I'm a fair guy. He just got worse. He just got faker. He's just even more of a vaccine salesman. So it's like I can double task. I could vote for somebody, but I don't worship them like a god. So when I vote for somebody and when I'm excited, when I think they're winning, okay, am I not allowed to be excited? Do I have to sit there with a straight face? I like sports. I'm not playing. I was going crazy over the Utah Jazz game. I'm not even from Utah. It's just fun. So I was excited for him to win because I didn't want Joe Biden to win. But I've been saying this the whole time, but that's the difference though. There's millions of people who support him who can't do that. It's like that's their whole world, and they'll just run off a cliff with Trump. I never wanted to do that. But yeah, of course, I think it would have been an easier but to be honest, in hindsight, I do think the only difference of Trump winning would have been lower gas prices and maybe slightly lower taxes and stuff. I don't think Joe Biden is really, besides all of this cultural Marxism stuff, it was already happening. It was already happening. All these people were going to do everything they're doing. The only difference, in my opinion, is the gas prices, maybe federal judges, a Supreme Court, if that happens during this year. Like what would Trump have stopped? He wouldn't have stopped any of the vaccine tyranny. He wouldn't have stopped any of the mandatory vaccinations. It's all corporate. It's all coming from the companies. It's all happening in states that he doesn't control. And he wouldn't even send National Guard when Black Lives Matter were burning down cities. So I'm not knocking him. I voted for him. But in hindsight, I think the difference between him and Biden in personality is this big, but in policy, I don't think Biden is I think a lot of it is like Congress, and they were going to do that anyway. Someone said, I love critical race theory. Well, no, Hydro, you're like the other guy. You don't agree with what I'm saying. So instead of debating what I'm saying or disagreeing with it, you start making up these straw man arguments that I don't believe in to make yourself feel smart, which is a way to lose a debate against me. So I'm saying what I'm saying. And then instead of debating what I'm saying, because you can't, because I'm not lying, and you have a problem with it, but you clearly can't debate it, you say, oh, you like critical race theory. No, I don't. I think it's phony. I think it's completely, rigged in a political / racial psyop, and I've never once supported it ever. So if you have to lie about me just to make yourself feel smart, and then you say, what's your IQ? How about, Hydro, I'll give you the platform. How about you actually debate something I'm saying instead of making a straw man argument that I never said? Because nobody on my live stream believes you and thinks that I support critical race theory. That's a really dumb way of debating. But I know you come a lot and you get upset because you love Trump, so you have to make up lies about me. Yeah, you said, okay, I am. I know you are. Trust me. It's not my first rodeo. God bless you. Someone said, you'll be eating your words when Trump and DeSantis team up in 2024. Then Anomaly will jump on the Trump bandwagon. It's not true. Listen, I want to say this because I've been falsely painted by Hotep Jesus when he got obliterated in the debate against me and then flipped and said he knew that Trump was a puppet all along after whatever. He flip-flopped 18 times. Actor. Good actor, though. Good guy. Interesting guy. A lot of value, a lot of wisdom there. But in general, everybody keeps trying to paint me. Oh, you'll jump on the Trump bandwagon. You don't realize the reason I've been so effective at making people like Trump, and the reason I've been so effective in getting millions of liberals to realize that they're not even liberals anymore because they've gone so insane, is because I've never acted like these other Trump supporters. Never. My first big Trump supporter video was not, I love Trump. I'm obsessed with Trump. He's my whole life. I'm going to wear 15 MAGA hats and build a wall 1,000 times. That was never my angle, ever. My angle was, I used to be a liberal. I used to support Bernie Sanders. In fact, Brandon Straka told me from the Walkway movement, he told me that it was probably that video, my videos, that inspired him to even do the Walkway. He probably saw that video where I kind of did exactly that. I said, I used to be a liberal. I used to like Bernie Sanders. I didn't even vote for Trump. But here's why I think he's not that bad. Here's why I think the media is a bigger problem. Here's why I actually think he's doing good things. And you know how many views he got? 20 million views. That's why I got so many views. That's why I helped Trump so much. It wasn't because I stacked up 15 MAGA hats and I rode his coattails. I never did that. So you guys have to falsely paint me in history. Look at all my videos. I never acted like that. Not once. I just said at a certain point, I'm like, he's doing a pretty damn good job. I mean, he's in Syria, he did a good job. With unemployment, he did a good job. With taxes, he helped a little bit. With the individual mandate, I'm a fair person. And then when he started passing the speech laws, I said, I don't agree with that. When he did the omnibus bill that he said he'd never do, I said, I don't agree with that. When he became a warp speed salesman, I said, I'm honest. That's called integrity. That's called real. That's why you guys, people get mad in the comments. You don't know how many high-profile Trump supporters, celebrity, athletes, musicians at the top of their game reach out to me and say, Anomaly, I appreciate you for being honest. You're the reason that I actually even feel this way. You're who I watch. I don't watch these other Trump supporters. That's why people actually like my content. I've never just been a Trump coattail. If he runs in 2024 and DeSantis runs in 2024, I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon because I was never on the bandwagon. When I go to a Trump event, people like me, not because I ride Trump's coattails, because I told the truth about Trump when everyone lied about him, and he deserved a better shake, and I gave him that. So in 2024, if him and Ron DeSantis are running on a real platform, I will support it, but I will also explain what they didn't do and make sure as a citizen, I don't want to see them go down that path. I'm not just going to join a party. This isn't a club for me. I'm a news analyst. I'm not a partier. I don't go to Trump events and just say, I'm a Trump guy. It's all I do. All I do is Trump. I live Trump. I hate Trump. I'm a news analyst. I analyze the news. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. And that's what I've always done. So no, I'm not going to join the bandwagon or hop on the bandwagon. If Trump and DeSantis run, or DeSantis and Trump run versus Biden and Kamala, to be honest, I'm going to vote for them probably. I would even suck it up, even if Trump is still being a D, with the vaccines. But, I'll be honest, like, here's what they offer. But they're going to keep playing you if that's how you think. I'm on their bandwagon. I'm on their bandwagon. Of course you are. So now you're on your bandwagon. You have to ride wherever they ride. And if they ride off a cliff, you go off a cliff. If they ride with the vaccine, you get the vaccine. If they ride with the lockdown, you get the lockdown. That's the whole problem. I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm never going to be on the bandwagon, because I walk to my own tune. And if they're going the right way, I'm going to walk with them. And if they start going the wrong way, I'm never on the bandwagon, so I don't have to go where they're going. My whole life doesn't revolve around worshiping DeSantis or Trump. I appreciate what DeSantis has done. I'm suspicious of some things he has done. I think he's got a lovely family, and I think he's a nice guy. I like DeSantis. But, yeah, if they run, I'm sure they'll get my vote. But as far as the be all end all, this is why Republicans keep getting played. They don't, you get what I'm saying? That's never been my gig. So the Peace Dealer said, keep up the great work, brother. Thank you, Peace Dealer. I appreciate it. I'm going to read this on Facebook. Someone said, Cynthia said, that is the plan. Get people on the bandwagon so they suspend critical thinking. Well, I think of it like a illustration. If you're on somebody's bandwagon, you're on the wagon. If the wagon falls, you fall. And listen, if you love what they're doing, that's fine. I don't knock people for it, but I'm not a bandwagon rider. I do my own thing. That's just always how I have been. I have groups. I appreciate Trump. I'll go to an event, but think about it like that. If you're on a bandwagon, you have to go where it goes. If you walk with your leader, I think this would be a better, don't be on the bandwagon. Walk with them, drive your own bandwagon behind their bandwagon, and you could follow them, where they're going. And if they go a way that you don't morally agree with, then you could drive your bandwagon wherever you want. It's like be your own unit. You could ride, it's like a bird, that they all ride together. But if one bird starts selling vaccines or something and he starts turning into a Pfizer salesman, I don't have to follow that bird. I got love for him, but I'm like a Leonard Skinner song. I'm going the other way, or whatever that song is. Is it like Eagle? What's the Leonard Skinner song? Whatever. Someone said you should support and criticize at the same time. Yeah, but I don't even like the word criticize. I mean, you're right, but I'm not a critic. I don't say me. I'm just like, I pay taxes. I'm a human being. I'm an American citizen. I believe in the First Amendment. I'm not even a critic. It's just like, if you pass a bill that I think is anti-First Amendment, I'm not going to support it. I don't care if your name is Donald Trump or Joe Biden. That's just how I feel. I'm not so enthralled with politics, and I never have been, that I'm going to walk off a cliff with Donald Trump or Joe Biden because they pass a bill I don't agree with. I'm not a critic. Yeah, free bird. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I'm just like, I don't agree. I didn't agree with, extending the lockdown. So I said it in April. I'm not critiquing. I'm just analyzing and speaking, but I guess it could be considered criticism. Someone said, yeah, guys, go sell your own God bless hats. I mean, I don't know if that was the best comparison. I mean, technically, I guess people could sell whatever they want, but how does me being an American citizen and a taxpayer who doesn't just blindly follow politicians, how is that equivalent to someone else just stealing my designs and selling their own hats? You could start your own merch company with your own stuff. I think that's a better example. Come up with your own designs and your own logos, and then you could sell that. And yeah, I would love, I mean, you don't understand too. In my audience, I have a website called Made America, what is it? USA Products Only. There's already thousands of my supporters who already have their own businesses. There's thousands of people who support me that sell woodworking, clothing, jewelry. You don't have to talk down to, it's like, oh yeah, sell your own stuff. There's tens of thousands of people who watch me who already sell their own stuff and probably make more money than I do. So yeah, that's fine. But I don't follow politicians. So you're like, yeah, so just steal Anomaly's hats and sell those. It's a terrible comparison. Why? It's like, I don't understand what's so revolutionary about not blindly following politicians. That's why I say it's become a religion. Someone said, because you're a grifter who uses the veil of analyzing. Bro, you're just hating. It's fine. I mean, you could watch, I would say, my top 100 videos. I would love for you, call me a grifter, take my top 100 analysis videos and then compare them to the top 100 analysis videos of anybody else on the internet. The only person, in my opinion, that can even compete with me in that realm is Tucker Carlson. I think he does a damn good job when he's on point. Anyone else, they're not in my league. I'm not being cocky. I'm just saying. So you can call me a grifter, but my work speaks for itself. I have hundreds of good videos that are so good. If some of these other influencers and analysts, one of my worst videos would be one of the best videos they ever made. And I'm not being cocky. I'm just being honest. That's just the truth. You could take a video that's not even top 40 of my videos and give it to one of these other influencers and they put it on their social media. It would win a Pulitzer. That would be their best video. Someone said Russell Brand is killing it. Russell Brand is killing it for sure. He's crushing it. Absolutely. Someone said a lot of trolls tonight. They're not trolls. People just get upset. If you question people they like, they just straw man argument. It's fine. Let me try to find the super chat. Sorry, I missed it. Someone said, Richard said, DeSantis stopped Trump from drilling off oil off Florida coastline. He is not following. He is leading his country by example. DeSantis is definitely ahead of the, thank you, Peace Stealer. DeSantis is definitely doing a better job than most Republicans. Jessica said, I love the confidence. Well, thank you. Someone said, I was just listening yesterday to a podcast about the Amanda Knox case. Yeah, I don't know much about that. Hydro said, you guys don't want anyone to disagree with you. No, Hydro, here's the difference. I don't mind if you disagree with me, but you're not as good as a debater as you think. So you say, Anomaly likes critical race theory. That's not disagreeing with me. If you make a valid disagreement, I might read it and agree with you, or I might have a legitimate discussion with you. But you making up straw man arguments that you and everyone else knows that I don't support and saying I do support it because you can't handle what I'm saying, that's not an argument. That's not a disagreement. People saying, oh, just sell your own God bless hats because Anomaly says he's not on the Trump bandwagon. It's like, that's not an argument. That's not a debate. That's somebody getting salty over what I said, telling someone to steal my merch and sell it, and acting like that's equivalent to me not blindly following politicians. Do you think that's a good debate? I'm winning these debates not because any other reason besides these are not good points. People make good points sometimes. I've been in a debate where people will make a valid point. I'm not a hater. If you make a fantastic point, I love giving people credit. I love giving them their shine. But these are not mind-blowing things you're saying. You're just making up fake arguments because you're upset that I said something about not being on political bandwagons. It's not really equivalent. Thank you, Heather Ann. I appreciate it. Scotty said DeSantis is definitely not a rhino. No, he's not a rhino. He definitely does a lot for Florida. He definitely does a lot for the country, but he's definitely a Zionist. And my problem with Zionists, it's not people misconstrue when I say this. My problem with Zionists is not the fact that they support Israel. My problem is all of these Zionist politicians seem compromised to me. It's like DeSantis passed an anti-First Amendment religion bill that quashes speech in schools against non-religious Jews and the Zionist agenda. And he didn't pass it for Christians. He said it was a religion bill. This is for religious protection. How come it only protects one religion that's also not a religion, that's also a country, and it doesn't protect Christians or Hindus or Muslims? It's not a religion bill. It's a bill because the big donors in the Republican Party are Zionists who give them money and then they sell out their own country. So that's my beef with DeSantis and even Trump. It's like, everyone's like, Jared Kushner's secretly running the show. Why do you think Jared Kushner's secretly running the show? Don't say why you think he's running the show, because they'll consider that an anti-Semitic offense. So that's the Republican Party. A lot of them are not rhinos. They're all Zionists. Any Republican that's not a Zionist will be beaten, not physically, but they will end up on a Marjorie Taylor Greene apology tour, because that's what these people do. You can't stray from that norm. You can't question them. You just have to serve their agenda. You have to prioritize America second or third or fourth, or else they freak out. So the real America First movement is not the Trump DeSantis people. But I know that's a pill people don't want to swallow. And I have no hate for Israelis. I like Israelis. I probably love Israel. I've honestly heard that Israelis are some of the nicest people. I have a friend who plays pro basketball. He said, Israelis treat me the best. He loves Israel. I would love Israel. I'm just an American, so I don't like anti-First Amendment speech bills. And I say this, and the walls come crashing down when you say that. That's my only, I won't say my only issue, but I want my politicians to prioritize our country first and not pass sneaky bills for other countries. That's as far as I go, and people don't like to hear it. Someone said politics are dirtier than Hunter Biden's teeth. That's funny. That is funny. Someone said sad about Israel's vaccine troubles. Yeah, I mean, that's also my thing. Like, Republican Zionists are attached to the hip with Israel and their agenda, where it's like, I don't have to, but like, they're going crazy with the vaccines. Like, I don't want to be attached at the hip with Israel. Let them do their thing. We'll do our thing. If we want to collaborate, it's fine. But if we're walking around like conjoined twins and everything Israel does, we have to do. Yeah, I'm not for that. I think we should do our own thing. I don't want You get what I'm saying? That's where I feel like they're at. So now I'm just giving people an example. If you were to boycott Israel because you thought, they were heading the mass vaccine program, that would be considered anti-Semitism. That would be, you would possibly be cracked down with Trump's executive order. He passed a BDS executive order. You're not allowed to boycott, divestment, or sanctions on Israel at college campuses. And all of these, even what's this guy's name? Social Justice Warrior. He's a really smart guy. He does analysis on YouTube. He's getting a big audience. Actual Justice Warrior. That's his name. I like him, but I watched this video the other day and he was just doing the Zionist stuff where he was just like, this guy was working with Hamas. Oh my God. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a Hamas supporter, but he was using these straw man arguments supporting this BDS stuff in a way where it's like, the serfs support the Hamas through this organization. It's like, bro, that's like saying you supported the insurrection because you're friends with this person. It's the same straw man tactics to take down anybody who disagrees with Israel. And they do it to both sides. But you get what I'm saying? It's like, this is the blind spot. So all I'm saying is there's been multiple bills passed that make it essentially illegal for you to boycott a foreign country. I find that just very anti-American. But that's what I'm saying about DeSantis. He's just like Trump. He's the same. He's that same thing. So when people said, oh, Kushner was really running the show, like everyone acts like Trump is so smart. He just couldn't figure out, he had bad advisors. It's not bad advisors. There's people that, seem to have every American politician by the balls. That's all I'm going to say. That's what I think. But it's just my perspective and opinion. It doesn't matter that much. Someone said your local sheriff is the most important government you need. Kaylin, that's a good point because I do think, listen, I don't like Joe Biden. I think he's an embarrassment. I think his tax policy sucks. I think his inheritance capital gain sucks. I think Joe Biden sucks from head to toe. But what really changed that much besides them cracking down? All of this Marxist left-wing stuff, it was coming anyway. It's coming through Congress. They're doing it in corporations. Trump was completely incapable of doing really anything about it. He didn't do anything about big tech. And I'm not even saying that he really could do something about these corporations. It's a tricky thing. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying people think Trump is going to save them, but I don't think that much changed under Biden. I think, honestly, the country has been more free this year than it was last year. I'll say it. California's more free this year. And yes, I think that was slightly planned and slightly orchestrated. But, this idea that I feel like the president, it does seem like local sheriffs, governors, mayors, it does seem like they have more power and corporations. I think, if Hilton can across all states enforce a mask mandate, even when it's not legal, apparently they have more power than the president. I'm not saying it's Trump's fault. I'm just saying I really don't think besides gas prices, Biden is doing that much. I just think he's there, and all these left-wing agendas they're doing, they were all coming anyway. And I don't think anyone was going to stop it. But let me know what you guys think. Someone said he didn't even do what he could do. I agree with that. Honestly, I think there's things you can and can't do. I think he, in my opinion, and then I'm going to move on because I know this gets stale. I think Trump for 3 years sold everybody on this idea. And it wasn't just the Q people, but even myself and others, we were thinking he's going to have a really good finale. Let's be honest. In 2019, my thoughts was 2020 is the big year. That's the year he did some stuff. He didn't do some stuff. 2020 was the year that I thought he was going to have a big year and really do this big stuff that everybody thought he was going to do. Instead, it was his worst year. It's like being up 20 points in the fourth and going into the fourth quarter and then losing by 60 points. That's what Trump did. And then he kind of went out like a vaccine salesman. So I do think that he put on a show and made everybody think he was this guy who's going to do all this stuff. And I don't think he did nearly half of what he could have done. And, I don't think he has any plans on doing it. I think when it's all said and done, he ended up being a pretty good president for 3 years, and then he turned into a really good actor. And he was such a good president for so long that now that he's a good actor, people believe the act. Everybody's bought into his act, and they think he's going to come back and do all this stuff. But I honestly agree. I don't think he did half of what he could do. I don't think he cares at all. And I think people think that he cares so much, but he's just a really good showsman. He's a great speaker. He's a great entertainer, and he's entertaining people, and they love it. So, it's the show. Thank you, Angelic. I appreciate you. Someone said Kamala can touch her toes. She's an actor too. They got into office saying, "Oh my God, border security is so racist," and she gets in and says, "Leave the border." It's like they're all just actors. It's just Trump's a really good entertainer, and Kamala's not funny at all. Someone said 100% his presidency was like a Laker game. Great first 3 quarters, lose in the fourth. I think that's the best analogy, is like being up 20 in the fourth quarter and then losing by 60 and then bragging about like selling hot dogs in the stands. It's like, dude, I don't know. That's what I think, but it's not always going to be popular. Someone said, if the Senate doesn't back the president's policies, I don't see how much can get done. What say you? Now, Tina, I think you're on to a point. There's things he could have done. There's things he couldn't have done. But I think, everything is not done through presidency. Look at Joe Biden. What does he really do? Like, he's not cracking down on guns. In fact, California is more pro-gun now than they've ever been, because we had a federal judge rescind an AR-15 thing. So it's like, he's maybe trying to, but what is Biden really doing besides just sucking? Like, I think guns have become more legal in California. I think in a lot of conservative states, they've passed concealed or open carry. I don't know, one or the other. Like, the right-wing gun agenda is still moving forward because of local politicians. And I don't know if that's Congress or Senate. I'm not really sure how they do that, federal judges. So, I think that was really the value of maybe Trump. I don't know how much, but like, federal judges, like the stuff that nobody cares about, like McConnell's is like, he's not like somebody you'd watch on television and like be interested in, but he got those through, like I'm not a McConnell fan. I think he's a rhino, but he's just he's a politician. He's playing politics, but that, to me, that goes a further way than all this stuff that everyone's talking about. They never do. A lot of it's local, a lot of it's judges, a lot of it's like, if you don't have Congress and Senate, it seems like no one even does anything. April, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the dancing pear. I love that guy. Very fun. I'm just going to stare at him for 5 minutes. She sent me a "you are amazing" like dancing pear. I love that. Thank you, April. Richard said, you're right about free speech, but that doesn't give you a right to go every place saying it. Yeah, no, I agree. But Richard, what I'm saying is, if you look at Trump and DeSantis's speech bill, read the bill and read the laws. It's a completely fraudulent bill. And I'm telling you, people can get mad. They can hate me. But the biggest donors in the Republican Party are people like Sheldon Adelson. God bless his soul, because he recently passed away. God bless him and his family. He donates hundreds of millions of dollars to Republicans. He's a dual citizen, and he's a Zionist, and he says all the time his main agenda is Zionism. So when he gives $100 million plus to the Republican Party, and Trump passes an anti-First Amendment law and DeSantis passes an do you think they came up with that themselves, or do you think the people with the money said, "Hey, we want this law," and they passed this law? I'm not saying you could say bomb in an airplane or something. I understand what you're saying, but that's, once again, I know you don't mean to. It's a straw man argument. I'm not saying that you could say whatever when you want. But go read the anti-Semitism laws that DeSantis and Trump passed. They're completely fraudulent. They're completely fake. They're completely lopsided. And they're for the elites and the powerful people. And they're hiding their agenda behind the average Jewish person. Most Jewish people will never get any benefit from these anti-Semitism laws. You think they're going to care that Ron DeSantis passed this? In fact, some of the biggest opponents of Ron DeSantis's bill were Jewish lawyers, Jewish rabbis, who said that this infringed on the First Amendment. So it's not anti-Semitic to disagree with it. It's pro-American, and it's smart, and it's honest. So I'm not saying you could say whatever you want, but there's a reason Republicans pass these bills, and nobody understands why, and I'm telling you why. So if you want to listen with an open mind, you'll figure out what I'm saying, and you'll probably come to the same conclusion, or you're going to keep getting mad and making up straw man arguments. But read the bill. It's not a religion bill. It's not for the average Jewish person. People with big money who are into a certain agenda pass these laws, or get politicians to pass these laws, and it's for them. It's for the powerful people. The anti-Semitism laws that Trump and DeSantis passed, they'll help Susan Wojcicki of YouTube, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, and Jeff Zucker, the CEO of CNN. they'll help them more than they'll ever help any Jewish conservative who likes Trump. No average Jewish person is ever going to get any benefit from these bills. They pass them for the elites, and then they put on a show and act like they're fighting these people. Oh my God, I can't figure out big tech. Oh, I met with Mark Zuckerberg. I didn't even know he was going to do this. Man, I just was in the White House with him a second ago. Oh, I'll get him in 2020. You put me back in the White House. I'll fight big tech. Yeah, people love it. It's a good show. Cassius Cam said you should do a collab with Luke Radowski. It's a possibility. Someone said, are you America before Israel, Israel before Palestine? Richard said, not mad. God bless you, Richard. I didn't mean you in general. You seem like a good sport. I'm just saying, people. Am I America before Israel, Israel before Palestine? Well, I'm an American citizen, so I think it would be traitorous for me to support any other country before America. But am I Israel before Palestine? I think there's a lot going on there. So I wouldn't say I'm Israel before Palestine. I wouldn't say I'm Palestine before Israel. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle of what people are saying. I think sometimes Palestinians throw things at snipers and throw things at a wall. And then, something happens to them and they play the victim and say, oh my God, he did this. Well, it's like, bro, don't throw stones. Don't come to a gunfight with stones. No offense. You're not going to win. So if you want to win this battle, you got to figure out a better strategy than that. So I think sometimes they play the victim and they're wrong and left-wing media lies about it. And I think right-wing media lies a lot. I don't think Israel's just defending their land. I think they're expanding. I know they're expanding. So you're not going to hear that on PragerU and TPUSA because they're Zionists, and Zionists will never admit that Israel doesn't want to just defend what it has. It wants to keep expanding because it doesn't even believe these people have anything. So there's videos of them just taking over whole apartment complexes and being like, it's mine now. So, it's like, do they really want peace? I don't think so. And America funds Israel, and then sometimes they fund a little bit of Palestine, both sides of it. So, I think it's complex, but I wouldn't say I support one over the other. It's not my conflict, but I think both sides are lying. And I think, no one's ever heard that because you're never going to hear it on any right-wing news because they're all Zionists. And so they don't like to tell the truth, honestly. They like to give you half-truths and act like they're just simply defending their land. I don't think they are. And I have no problem with Israelis, but at a certain point, there are people who live in Palestine and they own things or they think they own things, and Israel thinks they own things where they're not just sitting there and defending their wall. They're expanding. And I think they're going to keep trying to expand and play the victim. I think Israel plays the victim and Palestine plays the victim, but it depends who you are. If I was Jewish and I was Israeli, or I was Jewish and I had a strong religious ethnic tie to Israel, I'd probably support Israel. I'm not going to lie. So when I have Jewish friends who love Israel, I have Jewish friends who don't care. I don't look down on them because they support Zionism in Israel. If I was Jewish, to be honest, I probably would too, but I'm not Jewish. So and I get the biblical perspective, but I kind of see it differently and I could explain that. But, and if I was Palestinian, I would probably support that. Or if I was Arab, I'd probably support Palestine. I'm really neither. So from a biblical perspective and from an American perspective, I think, America is being tricked and Christians are being tricked and deceived into aligning and just becoming a group of people who are just not Christians and not Americans. And it's not to say that they're bad or they're wrong, but, America was a Christian nation, and I think America was American, and now we're becoming another culture, a mishmash of 10,000 cultures. And then our own party that's supposed to support our culture doesn't even support our culture. They play identity politics with all the same groups that the left plays. And then they, worship another country more than our country. And I think we are being led to the slaughter, not just by liberals, but by conservatives too. So yeah, I can't say I really support one over the other. I would say I know people who are like Palestinians who tell me their side of the story. I have friends who are Israeli who tell me their side of the story. And I like both of them. And I don't hate on either of them. And I'm open and I'm listening. And I get both sides. But to me, I see it through my lens. And I think that one of our biggest flaws in America is we have joined at the hip with Israel. And I think that their agenda is not the same as our agenda. So when you serve a different master than your own, I think you become whatever we've become. So now we have two different sides of politics. The left has gone fully blown insane, and the right is like a shell of what a conservative probably was 40 years ago. And that's just the dynamic of it. People like DeSantis and Trump, they're going to continue to, do some things for America and then some things for the people who pay their bills. And that's just the way it goes. But I don't have any hate in my heart for either side. And I know that makes people mad. And I know people, people straw man me and say I'm this or I'm that. You could lie. That's fine. But I have sympathy and empathy for both sides of the conversation. Someone said, watch Marching to Zion. I've seen Marching to Zion. It's a very good documentary. It's been banned off of social media. And I've mentioned it before. I think it's a good documentary. Whether you support it or don't, it's a good counter narrative to Zionism. So it's from a Christian perspective. And this guy is instead of worshiping Zionism like most Christians, he's saying, this is why I think it's not biblical. I think it's a must watch for Christians who want to see the other perspective, whether you agree with it or not. In order to, I think, no, it's good to be challenged from your own perspective. And I think Steven Anderson does that in that documentary. And he has been heavily censored and heavily censored, similar to the way, to come full circle, similar to Bryson Gray. I'm not going to say Pastor Anderson and Bryson Gray are exactly the same, because Bryson's a black hip hop artist. Pastor Anderson's a white preacher from Arizona, but they have very similar, strong views on LGBT. And I think if I showed Bryson Pastor Anderson, I think he would love Pastor Anderson, even though they're kind of different, because they both get persecuted because they take a hardline stance, biblical stance against LGBTs. Someone said DeSantis is cringe. Ron Paul is base. Said Sickmon43. Thank you for the super chat. Darren the drafter said 1 up. Thank you, brother. Someone said, important question. What is the thing behind you on the wall? That's a painting. That is a soundproof thing. It's actually bigger than it looks. Here, I'm going to show you. It's pretty big. Just for record, I'm 6'3", so it's huge. It's just this wall is very far away. And when I got this place, I wanted to put it bigger, and then I realized how far it was, so it just kind of became what it is. So it's supposed to be soundproof, and it still echoes in here because I don't have that much stuff. So I've been adding more and more foam trying to get the echo down, and it's just not working. All right, let's get one more and we'll end on one note. Someone said Steven Anderson says to wear a mask or take the vaccine. To be honest, I haven't heard him say that, but I don't really follow everything he says. If you want to be honest, I think Marching to Zion is a very powerful documentary and a must watch. But dude, Steven Anderson to me is like pretty funny. Like he goes off and it's like a parody where he's so funny. I've seen him argue with Jesse Lee Peterson. When I say certain things, I don't subscribe to everything they're doing. I'm me. I'm not Bryson. I'm not Pastor Anderson. If I feel it, I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say what I feel, but I'm sure me and Pastor Anderson have a lot of things we disagree on. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen him say that, so I can't justify that. But if he did, that's not my thought. Did he really say that? I would have to look that up. Let's see. I'm going to try to find it, but he got banned off YouTube. He's not my pastor. I'm just complimenting him on one thing. Let me see. I think if you watch his one interview with USA Today, in my opinion, it's just wild. It's not supposed to be funny, but it's so outrageous. I think it's hilarious, honestly. Let's see. Mask, vaccine. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to find it right now, but I'll look into it. I'm going to read. Oh, no, never mind. You guys are arguing with each other. Someone said JLP is amazing. Well, I love JLP, but it's the same thing where it's like, this is something that happens, and I'm not trying to backpedal or anything, but this is something both sides, the media, and even deeper things than that, if you agree with someone on something, they try to act like you're joined at the hip. Like, oh, do you agree with everything Jesse says? I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he's so unique. Like, I'm me, Jesse's Jesse. we're not the same person. That's obvious. But I love Jesse Lee Peterson. Does that mean I agree with everything he says? No, of course not. Because if I did, I would say it. So it's like, these are the games that the media tries to play and stuff where it's like, oh, you said something about Steven Anderson. Did you know he said that and this and that? I'm like, I'm not his PR team. I'm not his agent where I like make excuses for what the guy says. Like, I'm me. I observe things, I analyze, I'll be like, I like that, I don't like that. So, I just think, I'm not saying it to backpedal, but this is a thing that people do on multiple levels to try to be like, oh, you took a picture with that guy. Do you know who he is? I'm like, I'll take a picture with anybody, but no, doesn't mean that I know everything they've ever said and agree with it. They try to kind of like pin everyone else's beliefs onto you. If I was to do an interview with certain people, they'd be like, oh, so Anomaly did this and this. And it's like, I don't like all that. I speak for myself. I don't, if I have an issue with someone, I'll just say it to them or whatever. But I think that's life though. Everybody's unique. So it would be boring if everybody thought and acted the same. Everybody's, I think to some extent there's certain people. I love Tucker Carlson, but I've seen Tucker say stuff that I was like, I don't like that, and that's what makes me and Tucker. But I think overall Tucker does a fantastic job. But if we were 100% the same, life would be boring. I think that's just how it goes. All right. I got to find a good ending note. Someone said Melania is very classy and elegant. I think she is, but also on one hand, I will say this, like, I like Melania. I think she's pretty. To be honest, I think she dressed nice, and I think she got a bad rap by the media. If you go into her past, I mean, she was a vixen, model, whatever, rich chick that, so if she was liberal, I don't think conservatives would treat her the same way. Maybe I'm wrong, but if she was a liberal, do I think conservatives would say Melania is elegant and classy? No, I think conservatives would say what liberals say. She's a stripper. She did this. She did that. I think that's just the political thing. Do you think if Melania was Joe Biden's wife and acted exactly the same, do I think conservatives would look at her and say she's elegant and she's classy? I don't think so. I think they would look at her and find all of her most sexual things she's ever done and try to use that against her, And people don't like to hear that, but that's just the way I see politics. I feel like, I've never said anything mean about Melania because she doesn't really say that much. I barely heard her speak for the 4 years. She doesn't talk that much. So what's there to really hate on? But I think that's the way politics go. You pick a team and you think you're doing what you would do normally, but I would say 90% of conservatives would just be ragging on Melania if she was Joe Biden's wife. But I have no problem with their photo shoots. Listen, life is crazy. So if that's your journey to get to Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying? You're doing your thing. Listen, I'm not God. I'm not out here telling you what you can and can't do. I would never hate on Melania for any photo shoots or anything. I mean, I'm a guy, so I look at them, I'm like, damn. No, I'm just it's but seriously, it's not for me to judge. So I've never hated on her, but I'll give you another thing that I saw. There was some liberal guy, I guess he's running for Congress, and they had some video. He showed up in some like BDSM video where he's like tied up with a dominatrix, and New York Post did an article about it, which I think is kind of messed up, but whatever. And a liberal retweeted and said in regards to that congressman who had like a BDSM video, he retweeted it and a liberal said, at least he's not having sex with kids and these are two consenting adults. That's better than most politicians. And I saw conservatives hating on that and being like, blah, blah, blah. To me, I'm not liberal. I'm not justifying what this guy's doing. But I do think that was a funny response. And I think that was actually a good response. He said, at least these are consenting adults. At least he's not doing it with children. That's better than most politicians. I think that's a witty response and being like, yeah, most politicians are probably doing worse than that. I would say that that's probably true. So to me, that's actually a good response. But everyone's hating on it because he's liberal and that guy's liberal. To me, if a conservative said that, that would have been like a zinger. Like, yeah, at least. But, that's the political game. That's why I'm tapping out. I want to say this too and end on this note. I was away for 5 days. I still did videos, but I took a break. Getting back into politics, it can be so toxic and so repetitive. And I'm calm now, but one of the reasons I was getting upset a couple months ago or whenever it was because I do my thing, but I don't like it to be too stale, and I like it to be fresh and fun, or else, it's miserable and no one's having fun. But people kept repeating the same thing to me. And I know I shouldn't have took it out on people because, I think it's not right because people just come in. Most people don't watch every stream. So who knows? They might have just said it for the first time. But I kept hearing the same thing 1,000 times from April 2020 till now. And I went away from my computer. And as soon as I got back to my cell phone and I actually checked Instagram, someone messaged me, dude, I think Trump did the vaccine to save the world. And I'm like, it's so annoying, not just because people have an opinion that I don't agree with. I feel like I'm living in Groundhog Day. I'm a complex being. I'm simple, but also I like doing new things. I like getting new angles. I don't want to live in the same world. Yeah, we repeat topics a lot, but you get what I'm saying. And when I'm hearing the same things a million times, it's not fun, because I could be doing this. You could be on a beach. I could be editing a video. I could be doing this, or we could be sitting on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook doing all this stuff. But when I'm live, I'm having fun. I'm making jokes. When I do the Q stuff, I just think it's really funny. Whether you like Q or not, I just find it very funny, and I'm laughing and people are laughing. To me, that's fun. It's not fun to just sit in the same little world all the time and say the same thing. So that's what I'm starting to realize. After I didn't take a huge break, but I did more walking, more outdoor, more watching golf and stuff than I normally do. Getting back to it, I was like, man, this is not fun. I don't want to do this. Of course, we all have to do things we don't want to do, but on social media, I don't want to spend 10 hours and be miserable for 5 hours reading politics. So that's what I try to do on the live. Latte Hannah said, you take everything out on me. And I'm like, Latte Hannah, I haven't even seen your thing in an hour. God bless you. I feel like, no, I don't do that. I didn't even say anything to you for an hour, but now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I try to do. So I'm not going to get upset on it, but certain things I feel like they got people on loop. 10 years will go by. They'll extract trillions of dollars of wealth. They'll do lockdowns. They'll push a vaccine. They'll do this. They're making all these moves, and we're having the same conversations and the same little left and right battles, the same sort of things. He's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite for years. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's part of the mind control matrix. It's not just brainwashing the right wing or brainwashing the left wing or brainwashing the rhinos. It's also getting people to do things that are not, fun and interesting or helpful, and just getting caught in this thing where we're trapped and just living on repeat on a cycle. And I don't want to do that. So I'm always looking for new angles. I'm always trying to have fun. And that's what I identified. That's what I took away from the last 5 days, is like going back to reading the same comment I read 10,000 times in the last year that I don't agree with. It's just not fun. It's like if you had a friend. When you have a friend, you identify what you like and don't like, and they don't do what you don't like, and you don't do what they don't like. That's what makes them a friend. If they did what you didn't like 10,000 times, you wouldn't like them. And we go on social media. It's supposed to be social media. Laugh, get interested, get informed. We don't go on social media to be miserable and to do things we don't like, or that's not the goal. So you can't avoid it all the time. But I think since we do control our own mind and our own hands and stuff, at a certain point, we can control it better. I can control it better. And that's what I kind of took away from the last 5 days. It's like, I'm starting to realize these traps I fall in on Twitter, on Instagram, just seeing stuff. And now I want to pop out of that, where I'm like, I gotta not focus on that and figure out how to focus on what I do like and solutions and things that are fun. Cause it's not even other people's fault, but I'm like, I gotta tap out of that and figure out what I do. Bryson, thank you for the super chat. And once again, my ink ran out, but you can see right here, Bold as a Lion, season 1. My personal favorite song, you like that print out, Bryson, is Safe Space. That was on my playlist. I listened to it on the way to San Diego, and on the way back, it didn't play because it got X'd out. It's a very dangerous precedent to set. But on that note, the positive is, I think, because of not just this stream, because I don't know how many views I'm going to get, but a lot of people should cover this. I don't know how many news sources it's going to be in. This should be in the Daily Caller. It should be on Fox News. This should be in every big conservative, the Daily Wire. They should all talk about this because it's a bigger story than even Bryson and Patriot J. The censoring of a song when there's songs about opioid overdoses, murders, like tying up grandmas, that's fine. But Bryson can't talk about LGBT, and Patriot J can't drop a few conspiracy theories on the crew. This is crazy, but you know, the positive is Bryson. Thank you for the super chat. Bryson's going to get more streams. He's already got millions of streams. And one thing, Bryson, obviously the lyrics, the flow, everything, the beats, but I love your work ethic, man. And I love how you just keep going and crushing and crushing. And you know, I think it's all compounding, man. I love the music. I always try to find 1 or 2 or 3 songs and put them on my playlist. But one thing that really stands out above the music, above the lyrics, above the beats and everything is just the way you just keep dropping albums consistently and quickly. And I love it because it's like, I know just even business wise, not even, it's like you got all this popping and then it just keeps compounding. So on top of this, even though they censored what I would say is my favorite song on the album, it's only going to do even bigger numbers for you because when they try to bring us down and when they try to take people down, it only fuels people to support more. It only brings more attention to it. And then rightfully, you know, people rise. And that's why you see people like Bryson and Tom McDonald putting up big numbers. So bigger things on the horizon. Thank you, Bryson, for the super chat. And that's what the story is today. You know, definitely check out Bryson Gray and Patriot J on Spotify. And Bryson, despite the controversial lyrics that apparently are too controversial for Spotify, I don't think Bryson curses at all in his rap. So if you listen to it and you think the content is good, there's no curses, you know, so it's family friendly if you listen and decide it's good for your family. But you know, isn't that interesting that the song that gets kicked off, I don't know if Patriot J cursed, but I do know that Bryson doesn't. So it's like the controversial song was not about killing or opioids. It was about the L's, the G's, and the B's, and the T's. It's fascinating, but appreciate y'all. Yeah, Bryson doesn't curse at all. Exactly. So, you know, definitely check out his stuff if you haven't already. And he's already putting up big numbers. And Bryson, I'll hit you up later or text me or something. But hopefully I don't have that much sway in anything. But there needs to be bigger things on this because that's a crazy. I don't know. It's probably maybe happened once or twice. I don't know if I've ever heard of a song being banned off Spotify. And that's like equivalent to like Alex Jones getting banned, where everyone's like, oh my God. Well, it's like, no, dude, they're just going to keep going and keep going. And that was obvious, right? When they did that to Alex, some people were like, no, he's great. It's like, dude, that's the in, and then they're going to come. So whether this is the first or one of the first few, you know, this is such a bad sign. I have a song called Bioweapon. So it's like, they could look at the lyrics and be like, what did he say about that? It's definitely a slippery slope that doesn't need to start. So keep me up to date on, I'll just check it on Twitter and stuff. And everybody in the conservative movement should definitely get behind Bryson and Patriot J and figure out a way to call out Spotify. I mean, I can't imagine a song band in 2021. Incredible. All right. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. My Telegram chat, t.me/DreamRareChat or DreamRareChat. All my live streams I post there. Facebook makes it pretty hard. YouTube is what it is. I don't know what they're doing or not, but I know the Facebook streams have been kind of weird and people can't find it. So just go to t.me/DreamRareChat if you want to see that. Someone said Spotify is a Swedish company. I'll look into that. At this point, I'm sure they have offices everywhere, but appreciate y'all. I'll be back with more videos this week. Oh, someone said, what was the song? The song was called Safe Space, and it's on YouTube. You got to check it out. Seriously, I listened to it twice before because I wanted to hear the lyrics to remember so I could talk about it. It's a banger. Honestly, it's my favorite Patriot J verse ever, and it's by far my favorite song on the album. I like a lot of them, but it just slaps so hard. I was banging it in my new car, and just it's a good time. And the mix and master's good, the beat's good, the lyrics are good. Safe Space, Bryson Gray featuring Patriot J. Give it a listen. It's still on YouTube with a lyrics video. You got to see what they're banning, definitely, and go give it some streams. When they try to knock down, we just go up a few. All right. God bless. Have a good one, guys.